Pokemon's game potential has not even been tapped to, because even Power World, what it gave you was a glimpse and teaser of what we should have had 5-10 years ago.
I agree.
I did not like Jim Carrey as Robotnik for the first two movies. I did. I feel like Jim Carrey's just like what you said, is just playing Jim Carrey as Robotnik.
If you've ever been a jungler on Smite or League of Legends,
that's 100% what it's like.
Then that's what you're basically playing in Dynasty Warriors.
You want to read this for us real quick?
Look at the symbol.
What is it? Oh my god!
I'm 3 shots in, and I can feel it creeping on my toes and fingers.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shot Takes. Tonight, we have my friend Dom.
Hello.
And our co-host, he's not just the IT guy. He's a real person with real feelings, Dave.
I'm real.
So we'll be talking about some video games today and some other fun stuff. If you haven't been to the show before, we take a drink from the shot chamber here, and they're all randomized. Tonight, we're doing Pink Whitney and one random tequila shot amongst this, and we do a shot for each question. If you want to go and let the audience know a little bit about yourself, Dom, we'll go and get into the first question.
You already know my name is Dom, but currently what I'm doing is doing a little bit of coding. I just started that journey, and what I'm interested in is too many video games, which I'm sure we'll be talking about. Crypto is the other one that everybody likes to make fun of you of. And tell me how I'm a scammer.
You are a scammer, even before crypto. I used to play RuneScape with this guy. I know a scammer.
He was an armor trimmer.
Yeah. And then I guess as we go down to the minor traits of interest, a little bit of health, like nutrition, and would like to get into learning more about mushrooms. We won't go down that route.
All right. We're off to a fiery start here.
Not those mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms. Both, probably both.
All right, well, if you want to go ahead and spit it up here, Dom, let's do the first question.
Wow. Franked on it this time. All right, question number 1, a shot takes for tonight. What can Blizzard Entertainment do to save Overwatch now that Marvel Rivals exists?
I'll be the one asking the questions here because I played very little Overwatch. All right, so Tim, what do you think?
So let me kind of set the foundation here. How many years do you think you played World of Warcraft and Blizzard products in general?
Woo! I don't know. Since high school, I remember I would run it was faster to run across town than to take the bus home just to get home to play World of Warcraft. Probably the reason why I failed English.
But you didn't fail that raid on Friday night, baby.
No, I didn't. No.
Hold on, I'm sorry. We need a better explanation of this. You ran across town to get to World of Warcraft faster?
A brisk walk, sometimes running, yes. Like Charlie running home. No, except for it's the end music, you know.
I got a WoW subscription.
Yep. Thanks, Mom. Thanks.
Yeah. So, in terms of Overwatch versus Marvel Rivals, Overwatch is kind of the last bastion in my mind for Blizzard's large IPs that they have left remaining. Do you think that Marvel Rivals has won the chutzpah to put down Overwatch for good, or do you think that Overwatch is going to exist regardless?
The real question is, I don't want to bother Dave, but what is the numbers? What is the numbers of players? It seems to me that Rivals is winning right now, if I had to take a guess.
I don't know if Overwatch is on Steam, so that must mean that their active player counts must be displayed. I don't know if we can get a chart up to see whether or not Rivals is actually overshadowing Overwatch or has caused a dip in player count on Overwatch. I never looked that statistic up.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I mean, I would have to assume that with a lukewarm release of Overwatch 2, that it would have to lose a lot of players to effectively what is Overwatch 2, which is Marvel Rivals in the minds of most people, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, do you think that Blizzard has a different IP that is more potent than Overwatch 2 in terms of bringing in money? Do you think Diablo brings in more money than Overwatch 2?
Oh, definitely not Diablo. No, maybe their phone game. maybe the phone game probably makes more money. Yeah, definitely not World of Warcraft. Yeah, I guess it would have to be Overwatch. But even then, I would think Overwatch would be making less money Yeah, it ain't looking good. It's not looking good for most of their IPs.
So
I don't know. I gotta say, I don't think player counts is necessarily revenue, right? Like World of Warcraft made a shit ton of money off of mounts and the player store,
Yeah,
more than they were making off subscriptions whenever they first switched over to that. You know,
yeah.
I mean, one mount made more money than the entire release of StarCraft 2.
Yeah, you can milk your cows, but there's no one else on the farm. It's just your cows, you know.
Running a cow build.
Oh, don't trust me.
The cow level, dude.
We know.
They predicted it.
They already know. They know what they're doing, dude.
We know companies that know how to bleed a stone. They know how to do that.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, when you compare, oh, we got the chart here.
I didn't have it up yet, but I can bring it on if you're ready for it.
Yeah, you can bring it on. That's fine.
So, just let me preface this by saying you don't necessarily need Steam to play Overwatch, but you need it to play Marvel Rivals. So take this with a grain of salt. But go ahead.
So this is players right now, 330,000, and then I mean it's pretty consistent. I mean every day.
Is there any way that we can get Overwatches?
And then this is Wait, what is this?
Overwatch Hazard.
It's just
season.
Why
14.
is Hazard bigger than the word Overwatch?
I don't know.
Please, it's like Hazard. Please don't play this game.
Remember,
is Overwatch on Steam?
Yes.
Yeah, it's on Steam now.
I never knew that. I thought you had to go through the Blizzard.
No, it's so much more convenient. And that was a really big boon for me to come back to play Overwatch because I used to have the Battle.net launcher in order to play Overwatch, and it'd be a whole other program I have to go into.
You look at that. That's nothing compared to my
But
Rivals.
we're looking at like 1 week. Can you go to 3 months? Because that's Rivals released in the past 3 months. Right? So can you scroll down a bit because I can't see
it's
the
still
the
dog,
month.
Tim. It's still
So
dog water.
when did Rivals release? What day did that game release? 1 month. So January, like late January, it looks like. I mean, there's a dip, but like it looks like they only lost about half of their players.
I mean, they're a whole digit behind Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
27,000.
I think the whole
644.
I think the whole Marvel franchise is a lot more appealing to the masses as well, which is probably what got a lot of people in, especially new people, if I had to take a guess. And it seems that people are having it seems to be bigger than, like, I don't know, what was its peak? Overwatch? What was Overwatch's peak? Ever?
Like
all time.
Ever. Probably its release, right?
See, this is
Well,
where
this
I'm
is
saying,
on
though,
Steam, though.
This is on Steam,
Yeah,
right?
so-
So this
Yeah,
is where
you-
it doesn't quite apples to
Yeah.
apples, and Blizzard doesn't release their player numbers anymore, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
But either way, let's move on to the next topic.
Yep.
Fuck, I am all over the place.
We're only one shot deep, Tim.
I know.
Yeah.
What happens if I land on the same one?
You drink the same one. What do you mean?
I think you get $400 instead of $200. Oh wait, it's not Monopoly.
Do I wait? Oh, it's the same one.
Yes. There's one whammy
There's
tonight.
one whammy.
Is it moonshine?
Wait, when you drink it too, you have to go whammy.
I did my first moonshine tasting down in Florida, and that 100 proof, dude. I couldn't talk afterwards. Like, you know what? The pickle juice that you washed it down with was delicious.
Moonshine's dangerous because you can like not taste it sometimes depending on how it's brewed too. Because I didn't. Whatever I had, you're not supposed to drink like homemade moonshine, but whenever I had some of that, like I didn't taste it at all. I could like drink it like water.
What is
That's
the difference?
scary.
Like,
Yeah.
what makes moonshine compared to other alcohol? I'm probably talking too low.
I can't tell you too much about specifically moonshine. I just know that it could cause blindness if you drink homebrew moonshine.
What do you think of the Secret Levels? That's an Amazon anthology show. Warhammer episode. Have you seen that episode?
I was see that I suspected you haven't, but don't worry, we prepared it.
What?
You've activated our trap
You
card.
activated my trap card.
I didn't know.
Behold, Warhammer.
I didn't even know we were playing this game.
Yeah. So before we get into the actual cinematic itself, so what I want to do is I want to watch through this and
Yeah.
talk about it. If you have something to say, just I'll go ahead and cut out the parts where we're just watching it. So what this is Secret Levels, which is like you ever see Love, Death, and Robots before?
Yeah.
They got funding to do video game animations in
Nice.
each different studio. I think their studio hired different artists to go in and do video game based renditions of their universe. This is the one that they did for the Warhammer 40K universe. So
Alright.
what we're going to do is we're going to watch through this and get your initial impressions of this and what you think. So,
It's gonna be stone faced.
I didn't enjoy it.
It's gonna be like one of those react videos where they just don't say anything the whole time.
No, I'm gonna be stone faced. I'm going to be extremely thrilled and excited. Right into the eye of the storm, huh? And then into the butt crack of the world. Unlimited toilet paper.
They are the ass crack of the world.
It's all chaos ever wanted.
Dude, the graphics are so good though. Did you see the skin texture on that? Oh gosh.
I know, man.
What are you guys doing down here?
They exist just to drive this car. It's to fight these people. That's all they exist for.
I'm assuming these are Nurgle dudes by like the spikes and stuff. And looks like it's about to turn into Mad Max with the vehicle.
It does have a very Mad Maxy type of vibe to it.
A very stinky Mad Max, hopefully. This is the sewer Mad Max where they're in that.
It's Sad Max.
Sad.
I want to know what that dude's carrying. Hopefully it's a coffin for the dude they're trying to get.
I love that shot. His eyes get wider. There's Dark Tide right here, Dom.
Yeah, this is very Dark Tide like. Getting 300 vibes.
Yep.
I love how like every move they make has like a purpose, right?
Yeah.
It's like a dance. It's like a dance of death.
Well, it's kind of like how elves should fight. If you really live for hundreds of years, right?
Yeah.
Like nothing could beat you. Because you would have seen combat so many times.
Well, I don't know much about the 40K universe, but you just know that they're just meant to be murdering machines. So it fits perfectly the way they move. Supposed to be the elite of the elite.
That's how I picture myself as a tank in WoW. I'm just the dude with this shield getting shot at.
What's your profession?
Oh, dude.
I'm surprised he's not screaming for a healer. He's not a real tank. Where's my fucking healer? See, if they were really battling for 1,000 years, they would have like a cloth for their eyes whenever it gets all bloodied up.
Right. Or at least windshield wipers.
Come on, what's in the box?
Wipers.
Eye shield wipers. Look at that. Look at the skin, dude. It's so good. Insane.
Dude, I will say from being in the military myself, like the helmets that you wear, like they'll get like fogged up and you can't like whenever you put on like your gas mask and stuff like that, it will get fogged up and you can't see. So like that's one aspect. They're like sweating in those things. Like there's no like ventilation system. Like they're gonna not be able to see shit.
That's crazy to me. You didn't have like ventilation in your helmets. Because like people who paintball and are really into it have like the air conditioned helmets that like get rid of the fog and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be really nice.
Yeah,
I know that they make
the paintballers.
Yeah, they make like they're called. They have like vents in some of like the paintball mask or whatever else. But I think that they make actual ones with vents that you were talking about. I don't know how common they are in the military, but I can imagine they are too common because I don't remember.
I feel like it should be every single one though. We're at the point of technology where you can't just slap a battery and an air conditioner in with every gas mask for our military. Come on, dude.
Even the Disney Goofy suits probably got ventilation. Down on the floor.
Dude, they're really going in the crack right now. Look, they went so far down that gravity is now the other way.
They're walking down one ass cheek right now.
Yeah. I just want to know what's in the box. They're just like, they're saucing up this box that he's dragging around and what's going to be in it. What? We get Zinch demons? Only Zinch demons glow in the dark, right?
You got me.
I don't know.
All I know is that shot was sick as fuck.
The beaks and the blue give it away.
Yeah, for sure.
I do wonder if it would be possible for like that to like glow if it was like a bioluminescent like blue. I don't know if blood can be bioluminescent, but
that whole scene was just to look cool. That's all. It was just to glow in the dark.
That's what like half of the movie 300 was, though, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
That's what half of this episode is. What do you mean?
Yeah.
See, I would love to see like a whole movie like this.
But I want to know
too.
why they went from like Nurgle dudes, like regular chaos looking dudes, down to like Zinch dudes.
Well, because you went from the butt crack to the library.
Yeah.
Zinch is all about the library.
There we go.
Deep within the ass is the hidden knowledge.
They have different eye colors, actually. I don't know if I noticed. It's actually like a red leader, green leader type situation.
There. Are you happy, Dom?
I knew.
An old guy.
See, this is how I know it's fake immediately, because nobody ever goes for the healer. He would at least throw one or two of those spears at the tank. So here, I don't really fully understand what's going on. Do you understand what's going on, Dave, with this?
It's chaos. It's not meant to make sense. That's the whole point of chaos.
He's melting their brains with secret hidden knowledge.
That old man's gonna leave a bad Yelp review for that coffin ride.
There's just like so many different disciplines that go into this animation. It's not just like the same thing over and over again. They are doing a bunch of different, you know, complicated like animation styles.
Yeah.
Did he kill himself?
I think he like messed with his brain in such a way that he just liquefied himself and so. I don't.
Yeah, I know Zinch is supposed to be like change and weird. That's why in like time manipulation and stuff like that's supposed to be very I guess arcane like is the best way. Like that.
That's
yeah.
hot.
A lot of eyes, a lot of beaks. Oh, he's going into each person's mind. Joke's on you. I'm already insane.
See, I'm not quite I'm not quite sure like what is going on here.
I think it's reaching into their deepest, darkest fear and making them just like self-destruct from it. Because he just mentioned how he has no fear at all. So his power to strip didn't work on him.
Yeah, I think that's a good guess.
So he just was unfortunate enough to go for every other teammate who did feel fear first.
Yes.
They lost. Wait, what is it? Wars waged on many fronts. They lost the mental war.
Yeah. Dude, I love the Warhammer just giant cathedral cities on ships. It's just such a funny aesthetic. Have you played Space Marine 2, Tim?
Yeah, I played it like halfway through. I didn't get a chance to finish it yet because my friends kind of raged and we didn't get a chance to finish the game. Because it requires a lot of teamwork.
Yeah.
You know, you're up against it because you're literally fighting like hundreds of them, right? I don't know if you beat it or not, but you're fighting hundreds of like the Tyranids, I think they're called.
Well, the reason why I asked is because Titus is from the game. This is who you play as.
Oh, this is one of the characters, right?
That is the main character.
That is
right
Titus?
there. Yeah, that is Titus.
Oh, interesting. I know there's a black dude in the game too, but I wasn't sure if that was the same guy.
It's not him.
Okay.
So what was the point of the old guy? No, not that guy. The guy that was in the coffin.
That guy was he was there specifically to counter that sorcerer.
Yeah, and then he got killed. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he like threw a knife through the barrier. So he like protected them from the psychic attack things or whatever, but then he threw a knife, which I don't think any of them expected. And that obviously it's a psychic barrier, it's not gonna do shit. I thought it was cool. It's like, hey, this guy was effectively Titus's dad. I don't know. That was a cool reveal. That's what he's just showing. He's showing he's the one that
Wait, can you explain that one more time?
Look.
Who's his dad?
Him. He recruited him.
Is he stepdad?
Well, pretty much. He like adopted him. He said, I chose a child that had no fear. It's the same guy that's been narrating. And then the last shot of him is him running off as a child.
No.
I never
He says not
got
yet,
that.
old man. Maybe not as like biological, but maybe
No, not his
yeah,
biological. Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were confusing the hell out of me. I was like, what do you mean?
No,
this is
but
dad?
in terms of because like I guess it makes more sense if you know how Space Marines are
could be a
done.
mixed family.
They like
Could be a mixed
kidnap
family.
kids basically to turn into Space Marines.
Okay, so
So this is effectively his dad because he chose him to be his progenitor, pretty much.
So if you ever get looked in the face by a giant eye, you'll be able to kill him too, son.
All right,
Blinking is OP. I can't see you. I can't see you. You're not there.
put your head under the blankets. So what do you think, Dom?
Yeah, well, no. What is it? Love, Sex, and Robots? They always did a...
I don't know if it was.
It's Love, Death, Robots.
I don't think it's love, sex, and
Death,
robots.
Robots.
Love, Sex, and Robots.
I don't know.
You
what
love
show
wedding
you're watching.
robots?
Sex robots. When are they coming? Can't wait for them.
So what are your impressions from that? Do you think
They've
that
always did a good job. It was just badass. It was enjoyable. Like all it comes down to is like it looks great. You got good action. The animation's always great because if you've seen their past stuff, you already know it's going to be good. I guess the real thing is it going to be good to the Warhammer universe, and is it going to tell a good story? Because if you're just doing fan service, I'm not there just for fan service.
No, I feel like it's like what World of War, like what Blizzard used to be, right?
Yeah,
This dude in really cool armor goes and fights something.
yeah.
I don't know. There's basic story beats, but it's like stealing other stuff and combining it. It's nothing really new.
The Warcraft movie though was fun. It was a popcorn movie, but am I going to rewatch it? No. No, you know what I mean. It's not one that you rewatch.
So, what other movies would you like to see made if they were to make a movie of that quality for a video game? What do you think would be a good
movie for a video game? I'm still waiting for the Metal Gear Solid movie, Snake Eater Edition. Come on, that song
The
is
game
the intro?
is a movie. What do you mean?
What?
That game is a movie.
It is?
It's all cutscenes.
Oh, see what you did there. All the reason to just take it, smash them together, and make it a movie. That's the easy one that I can think of. Come on, like a James Bond film with that Snake Eater intro song. Come on.
I think that's what works against it the most is that it would have to be very James Bond-esque if they were to turn it into a movie.
Oh yeah,
it would translate well because again, most of the game is just a cinematic.
Well, it's a good story. It's just good. It's just good all around.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know what the closest cinematic would be for the Metal Gear Solid universe. Like, has there ever been a cinematic for it? Like, other than like in game, has there ever been like a fan made like imagining of what like a movie would be like in that universe?
Nope.
Because even like something like Legend of Zelda got like that April Fool's like cinematic thing. Whenever.
Yeah, I don't know if Legend of Zelda would make a good one because there's not really like a personal story. At least I don't think of Zelda as like a really personal story. It's kind of been kind of like the gameplay, I think, is what kind of made Zelda stick out for its time. Every time it came out for a game, its gameplay was outstanding. Kind of has like this meta story. I know of like, I guess Ganondorf being evil and the kingdom and the princess. I know it has that meta story of the hero story. It kind of, besides that, I don't think it really gets down and gritty. You know,
well, it's kind of hard to tell
like characters and people
narrative.
And personalities. It doesn't really get into that really that much.
It's kind of hard to tell a compelling narrative when your character historically does not say anything.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
And also, I think the whole point of Zelda is to be exploration, right? Like they made it because they remembered wandering the woods, right? And the story's always been in service of just, hey, I want to wander around and hit stuff.
Like, and it kind of shares a parallel with Warhammer in that aspect that like the universe is the interesting thing about the story. It's not necessarily the characters. There's kind of a vessel to kind of take you through this universe.
Well, what you want is hopefully you get a combination of everything. You know, think about like Lord of the Rings. You got characters, you got the world, you got the music. It's all coming together. It's all that's hard to come by. Sometimes you get a little bit of good of that, a little bit of bad of this. But what you want is you want all of it because we always want more. you want all of it. You want the personalities that you can identify with, the world. You want to feel like you're in it. You want it to be unique. You kind of want it to be like Harry Potter, the first movie. You know, it's brand new. It's new. It's almost like you're exploring the world for the first time yourself. That's what you want. Yeah.
So what video game movies do you think have done a good job at like kind of like bridging the gap between the game universe and the movie universe that like you think have done well?
I can use shows because they're kind of sometimes
or shows. I mean, like you look at something like Arcane, which I think is like the perfect translation for a TV show from a video game, right?
Yeah, for its lore, yeah, because we obviously know the gameplay has nothing to do with the lore. Yeah. League of Legends has to be the best example when it comes to lore so far, and it looks like Warhammer is going to be stepping up here to the plate. I mean,
they're gonna be making a second season of that, so they might continue on with that Warhammer story. Yeah. But I would hope there's some option to kind of crowdfund or at least show there's some kind of interest for seeing an entire movie of that.
The first season, I don't know what video game movies have we gotten that have been like you can like recommend it to anybody. I don't know. Like World of Warcraft maybe comes to mind. There hasn't been much really.
Oh, there's been the Mario movie. I thought the Mario movie was pretty good.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. The Mario movie was good. I can't think of much, but I know the first season of Castlevania is the best one. It just goes downhill from there. Castlevania was good. The first season of that.
I haven't seen Castlevania myself. What makes it a good show?
Oh, obviously a good villain, but obviously the main character is definitely interesting. But Dracula, very 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 relatable, very badass too. Like he's not just. You can empathize with the villain. I think always makes, or like at least reason. Some of them do logic. Like there was a lot of people be like, Thanos was right. I was like, okay, whatever.
Gonna steer clear of that guy.
Yeah. Somebody was rethinking that logic when they blew up the Georgia Stones. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, the population can only go so far. We're gonna kill ourselves. It's like, okay, you sure? You sure about that? Yeah, we got to call people, but whether it's logically people think they can connect to the villain or actually empathize with them, I think that always makes it good instead of just being bad for bad's sake. So I think Castlevania does that well.
I know most recently the Sonic movie, like the third Sonic movie, you ever get a chance to see that, I would highly recommend it. It is actually surprisingly good.
I've watched the first two. I haven't watched this third one. The only reason I watched the Sonic movie is to watch Jim Carrey play Robotnik. He does a very good job of that. 'Cause even though he's still only doing Jim Carrey, it matches perfectly with that character. So I think the role. But besides that, I don't think it's a good.
You're kind of shaking your head here, Dave. Do you not agree? So I'm on your boat. Hold on. Before we get into this,
let's get Dave's
opinion.
Did you
see the third Sonic movie?
No.
I will say
the second is so good though.
I will say
you're pissing me off, Dom.
No, it's definitely better than the first one by miles. And I guess there's a little friendship thing in there, like what a friend is with Knuckles. I think that was unless there's something that I missed. It's.
Yeah. So
what were you saying?
What I was gonna say is I did not like Jim Carrey as Robotnik for the first two movies. I didn't. I think he's funny, and I think that he adds a dynamic to the character that is not there, that makes it more of a movie. But I don't really think of Robotnik as this like goofy, like I feel like Jim Carrey's just like what you said, is just playing Jim Carrey as Robotnik, right? Yeah. It'd be no different if I was to expect The Rock to play Robotnik. I wouldn't expect him to act like Robotnik. I would expect him to be The Rock, and he'd run in there with his goggles and pecs and be like, "I'll crush you, hedgehog." I don't expect him to
That's
play.
like Captain America, Eggman, right there.
I don't expect him to play Robotnik, but in the third movie of Sonic, he was very entertaining, and because he was playing two different roles, I think it made it a much it added a layer of humor that I was not expecting. And there is one scene in particular, it's a dancing scene in the movie that
I've seen the short or the TikTok shorts or whatever it is. I've seen, I think one of my friends sent me that. Yeah, it was good.
He crushed it.
Yeah,
absolutely crushed it. I'd fuck him after that.
Yeah. More cushion for the pushing, you know what I mean? You know what? But listen, all right, you know what? I feel like the Sonic movie kind of, I'm glad it's there, but I feel like it's a kid's movie, first of all.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason I watch it is for Eggman. I think he's perfect. Personally, I don't know how you don't like Jim. Like, that's the only reason I watch it is for Jim Carrey as Robotnik.
Don't get me wrong, I like Jim Carrey. I just don't see him as the first two movies. I did not see him as Eggman. He redeemed himself in the third movie. He did fantastic.
You don't like the slow transition from Jim Carrey as he's slowly becoming Eggman? I love it. I love it. I thought that was genius. You're kind of seeing him evolve into Eggman. I think maybe that's what you're not seeing. He's like he's turning into that. Now I still have to see the third one, but no. But besides that, dude, the acting is god awful. The fucking why are the humans even in there? Why is mom? Is mom and dad there? Just cheesy. No, stop. But overall, the movie's bad. But it's also a kids movie, so I kind of give it slack. So it's like, I give it a mid-range.
The second Sonic movie was arguably the better one of the two, in my opinion. But there was some scenes in there, like there was like 30-40 minutes dedicated to the human side and this like wedding and everything. And I was like, what is going on? And like they really crushed it with the third movie because they know that it's a joke. And you can tell that gamers are making the movie because they put in like such cheesy stuff in there. But yeah, sorry, I don't want to hold.
What other movies? Well, what other video game, movie, TV shows adaptations? Because I can't think of any more.
So aside from that, I thought the Silent Hill movies were pretty good. World of Warcraft was pretty good. TV shows, I'd have to really mull my head over. The
best of the best. Does it get better than Arcane or Castlevania? At least I would think Castlevania actually beats World of Warcraft. The first season of Castlevania beats the World of Warcraft movie. At least if I'm making like a tier list in my head, I would have to put Arcane one up there. But that's also because whoever made it was also just very good at whatever doing their job. Because like you don't have to know the video game to enjoy the movie. You know, it covers a bunch of wide range topics and stuff like that. Like Sonic, it's just because it's your childhood. It's Sonic. You're taking your kids there. And then, of course, then there's Jim Carrey playing. I don't know when the last movie Jim Carrey's been in, but it's also been the return of that actor as well. I think that's why people watch it. They're not watching it because, like, oh, not only is this nostalgia, this is actually a good movie. No, people aren't going, I want to watch Sonic 3 again. Me, I watched Arcane twice over, and
The second season or just the first and second
First
season?
and second. I've watched it over twice, and I've caught a lot of things that I didn't catch the first time. And I was like, or a different view on things that I didn't catch the first time. That's when you know you're watching a good movie. When you catch and watch things that you didn't do the first time, and that's when you know you have a good movie.
Let's take a look at this list real quick.
Just to give us a little bit extra help, brought up a couple right here. Detective Pikachu, I liked.
I like that movie too. It came out of nowhere. Did you even know that movie was coming out whenever the movie came out?
Didn't like it.
Really?
I can't.
Why? What did you like
I
about
watched it and I can't remember it. So that's how I know it's at least for my opinion, bad movie. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
If I forgot about it,
it looked like legit. Like all Pokemon.
The Super Mario
real.
one was good, and you're right. I forgot about that one, but I do remember that one. It was good.
I think one that I really like that really falls off hard.
Oh yes, it
Resident
does.
Evil.
But Resident Evil, at least the first one or two, maybe three,
Yeah,
I
agree.
really like those movies.
Yeah, the first one was even the first one was way off, but you're right, and then it just turns into a fucking fever dream of and then eventually turns into it's almost
It's
like
so
the
bad,
Fast and Furious. It just turns into a
Yes.
No, it
superhero
is
movie.
exactly like Fast and Furious.
It just
Maybe
gets
the Fast
worse
and
and
Furious
worse
stole
and
their
worse.
idea from Resident Evil.
Yeah. One that I love that I'm gonna get crucified for.
I
Five
did.
Nights at Freddy's, dude.
Oh man, is
I-
this movie good?
I
though?
thought it was good. No, listen.
I did not watch. I really can't give an
did,
opinion
and-
on it.
And what did you like about it before I start giving you
What I
conjecture?
really liked about it was the retelling of the story, because there's so many different lore bits of this, and I think to boil it down into a cohesive narrative, they did a great job. I think showing that they were children in those things, that there's a duality of like danger and also childhood involved with that, and that the real villain at the end of the day is the purple guy, not them. I think they did a great job with that. And like we keep talking about the human elements sucking in these movies that are typically just used to pad out the length of the movie, I think the human elements actually add to this movie, not take away from it, which is very rare for these kinds of movies.
I think the big disconnect for me on this movie, and I agree with what a lot you're saying, where the human elements were actually a big boon to it, right? It kind of had to be that way. I don't think I ever felt like the animatronics were a threat in the entire movie.
Really?
Yeah, I know they were a threat to some people, but I don't really like. They were just like hanging out and playing fucking patty cake and shit with these robots. They should like. I didn't really get a sense of fear or danger from them. And so let me put it to you this way: if I was to not play the video games at all, and the only thing I had to go off of whether or not I should be afraid of these things is the opening cinematic, there was no real reason to be afraid of these creatures if you don't have any familiarity with the Five Nights at Freddy's series. And I think that's its biggest flaw.
I almost wish they did it from the perspective of Purple Guy instead of the Night Guard. Like, I almost wish that it was like that whole narrative of like Purple Guy getting tortured over and over in hell. Like, I wish it was like the animatronics are coming for him, and you find out halfway through the reason why they're coming for him because he's the one that did it. Yeah. And then you kind of end up hating the protagonist, and he dies, and you're like, yeah, screw that guy. That would have been a cool
But
movie
they
to
wanted
watch.
it to be a reveal. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what kind of defeated it in the end. And sorry, I don't want to spoil the Five Nights at Freddy's movies for you, Dom.
I don't know what they're talking about. Didn't play the game, didn't watch the movie.
Oh, man.
Wow. You have never played a Five Nights at Freddy's game?
Nope. I've seen by being on the bed with your girlfriend and her watching Markiplier or somebody else playing. That's the only like visual I've seen.
Dude,
on
you're
the
like
Five
3
Nights at
degrees
Freddy's.
away from it.
Wait.
You're watching somebody play the game.
Exactly. or game theorists talking about it,
Yeah.
but then I zone out and then they're like, I'm gonna go do something else. You know what I mean?
Well, no, let's play. Download Five Nights at Freddy's. Get Dom's house. I'm joking. Let's kind of speed run some of these other ones
Yeah, let's see
here.
if there's any other ones.
Hitman movies
Dude,
suck.
all terrible. They're all
They're
terrible.
pretty bad.
The Doom movie, that
You know
was
what?
so funny.
It's
with The
so
Rock.
bad, bro.
But hold on, there was a really redeemable scene in there.
Yes,
where
I know.
At the very end, man, where they went the retro classic and they were going through and murdering people like from first person view. That was a good fan service right there, and I think that really
Like,
redeemed it.
Looking at the Pokemon again, now I don't count the animated one as a serious take on Pokemon, but are we not upset that the first like real high budget and Pokemon movie that we got was fucking shitty Pikachu detective? Like, we want a real Pokemon movie, right? And we got detective?
I don't even know where that idea came from, but what I will say
Because
is
it's cute.
Yeah.
it is cute and it sells stuff. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I think a detective movie is easier to build a plot around than collecting 8 gym badges and challenging the Elite Four.
Well,
or even taking down Team Rocket.
It doesn't have to do that. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. You're right.
They did a new animation for the.
It'd be a hard one to put in.
They did a new animation for the original Pokemon movie, like an updated one. It's like a faithful recreation of it.
Yes,
fantastic. I would highly recommend that you watch that if you've not watched it yet.
I don't know. Make the movie about overcoming challenges, like Ash losing his first try or something like that. Yeah. You could do something. Come on.
You would have to be like moving at a blitzing
about competition or something, because
you have to develop not only characters for your other companions, but for all the enemies and all the Pokemon. That's so many different entities that you have to build a relationship with. Yeah. Like once you get to the 6th Pokemon, that's it. There's no more on the team. There's no more room. Because you can't fit them in the plot, right?
Yeah, sorry. Fucking, I'm trying to think of a Pokemon. Didn't make the cut, loser. Get out.
Yeah, sorry, 300 Taurus. You're not involved in this shit.
Yeah, think about the animal farming and discarding just to get that perfect eugenics Pokemon.
You're sitting here breeding Pikachu.
EV farming. Yeah, just max static.
Making the master race Pokemon.
I would love to see a Pokemon movie where it actually covered like that.
Should be the villain.
No, like a war.
That should be the Pokemon Team Rocket eugenics team, dude. Yeah. That would be
the Pokemon 2000. That actually is like the villain is the guy who's collecting all the Pokemon. I don't know if you ever picked up on that. Did you guys watch Pokemon 2000, the second Pokemon
he was, like,
movie?
Going out and trying to capture, like,
he's supposed to represent like the jaded adult who's just there with no relationship, whatever. Is just trying to streamline, speed run, capture all the legendaries.
I was probably.
He has his big ass airship. Who's invulnerable to everything.
I remember the airship. This is the one with like the birds, Lugia, and all them. Like,
yes,
Lugia's in it. Yeah, no,
correct.
I was probably too young and stupid to pick up on it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the collector.
Did you pick up on that?
No, it was later watching as an adult.
I was like, damn, you were smart for your age. I was like,
I didn't remember that at all. I was like, I like the file Pokemon.
I haven't seen that movie since. But you know what? The first movie was the best because it taught me at a young lesson. It was almost like how terrible violence is. Just that scene where they're all just bitch slapping each other. That tore at your soul as a kid of like
yes,
about violence.
Like
and how
we're not that different from each other and like being violent.
Yeah. That lesson did hit hard as a kid. They did a good job on that one. Yep. But the movie's still sucked and boring
too, right?
Yeah.
The concept of death because Ash basically died there, right? Like he didn't die. He was like frozen or whatever.
No, he died. He was dead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
They literally turned him into like freaking rock with their blast.
Who would have thought my introduction to death would be from the Pokemon movie?
yeah, death and violence. But that's what makes a good movie.
Yeah.
On to question number 3.
Yep.
All right, number 3. Spin her up.
Here we go.
But if they're all the same, what's the point of spinning?
They're not all the same.
They're not all the same. You got a whammy, remember?
Oh, so there's
when you get it, you got to yell whammy.
There's one. There's
not
one.
Really.
There's one that's not the same.
Yeah, this one. This is kerosene.
There's one that. There's one.
Is it diesel?
All right. Question number 3. Does Dynasty Warriors survive franchise fatigue for you? For those not aware,
which one? The new one?
Oh, yeah, sorry. The brand new one, Origins. So Dynasty Warriors Origins just came out, which got rid of the series number monikers because we were up to Dynasty Warriors 9 by this point, and it just called itself Origins. There were a bunch of conventions out. Have you played it or aware of it?
I have only played a little bit, but as somebody who hasn't played it in 10, 15 years, I'm obviously going to say it's great. So I don't know what I'm comparing to of what the last one was. But it was so bad in high school that even my dumb self was like, you're just selling me the same crap over again. I'm done buying it. So, yeah, from what I've experienced, amazing. But am I going to give it a raving review? No, I'm going to give it maybe around if out of 10, I'd give it maybe around a 7 or an 8, probably a 7. I feel like this is a good platform to build off of. If they do not build off of this, then there's an issue. And if you're just going to sell me Origins over and over again, we're going to have an issue. hopefully they didn't just put all the work in on this new one, and
They're gonna ride that for the next 15 years.
Just like Rockstar GTA 5.
Literally though, actually.
Or Bethesda with Skyrim. It's like, put that bitch over to the Switch 2.
Hopefully they didn't just modernize it, because the dodge and the parry and you could always block. I don't know if they ever introduced the parry, but there's a parry system now which comes with a risk and reward. If you parry on time, you get rewarded deeply, but if you just don't and you just block, you get penalized through your power, so you can't use your powerful move. So there's kind of like a risk and reward there. You got to be good at your timing, even though it kind of pushes you to just dodge all the time, which I don't like. It's just spam the dodge, kind of like Dark Souls. I wish they would have did something with dodge, maybe limit it a little bit more.
Is there any aspects of like discovery in terms of like what ability you have in the game, or is it kind of like pretty obvious what your scope of your abilities are?
This comes with probably more time played into the game. I'm playing on the highest difficulty because the game's way too easy. I think even on the
Sorry, continue.
Now, to be fair, I got stuck on the final boss, not because of the boss, but because of the mobs and swarms that come with it, and then me fighting 20 dudes and then getting hit once from behind and losing a quarter of my health. So it's like, it's not from the boss itself, it's from the crowd. So I got stuck on the first boss for like 2 hours or so. And I'm sorry, I'm getting off point from your question. What was it?
My question I was going to ask, Dave was asking more of the questions.
I asked if you played it, but go ahead.
Yeah, my question is, what would you, I don't want to get you want to finish your point.
No.
What I wanted to ask is, you give it a 7 out of 10, but like, what would you do to improve the game to make it a 10 out of 10?
Oh, well, that's easy. Make the map choices of where you choose a lane matter more. I feel like they make it feel strategic when it's not strategic, when it ends up just being an all-out one fight, either on because the way you lose the game, for people who do not know, who haven't played it, is if your leader dies, or whoever's chosen to be your leader, sometimes there's two, both of them die, or the one dies, you lose the game. But what I've noticed is on the map, because you almost like League of Legends or Smite or Deadlock, you have lanes. You have a strategic map where it looks like it's a battlefield. So you kind of get this idea, oh, it's strategic. I can choose this, do this, that. There's no choosing. Maybe they can make it a way where you can tell people to push, or you can put resources somewhere to maybe make it strategic, make it more randomized of what's going on in the battlefield, to make it feel like a battlefield in choices, make it feel strategic. Is what ends up happening is they end up either just all just piled in on your leader. Like if two lanes, like, trying to describe it, like if the left lane loses and your leader's up in the center of the map, they all just go up to the center of the map. And it's like there's no strategy to it. There's no like moving around or anything like that. I
think it depends on the map. The enemies will continue to push your HQ if you don't go back and save that lane you lost, right?
Yeah.
Like your leader will if you have two leaders, your second leader will over push up the center.
Yeah.
But then your HQ will get threatened by the lane you lost. You know?
But your leader is your HQ.
Not always.
Not always?
Because sometimes you have two leaders.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll see that more after chapter 1. But yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah. So that's the problem of not putting in too much time of it. So hopefully there's more of that. There's more strategy into it. But what I've noticed is what I did is I just hit every single lane, make sure they're all good, and then
there's definitely a lot of that.
Yeah, exactly. And so
is that element of the game fun for you?
No, because it kind of, at least to me, on the early stages, it trivializes the whole point of a strategic map. Yeah. You know what I mean? There has to be some kind of choices and picks to it.
I think it's I don't know. I think there's a bit of a boxing ring feel to it eventually. You'll see, again, like I said, you'll see more in chapter. So in a boxing match, you're exchanging blows, right? Mm-hmm. So you hit a guy with a hook, but he's going to hit you with a jab in your chest real fast. And you got to like react and respond. And you'll see that more in the later chapters where you lose a lane, and then like that causes like morale and courage and these different mechanics of how the different troops and generals respond. Those come into play, and you have to kind of think, okay, am I going to go here, or am I going to sacrifice this guy so I can go back and try to stop this? I don't know. It really depends on what map we're talking about and stuff.
Okay.
But in my opinion, there's more mechanics to it than just the yellow turban beginning of it.
Yeah.
So you're saying that, from what Dave's perspective is that there is a decent amount of strategy to it in terms of like maintenance strategy, rather than like you specifically ordering people what to do.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like that's exactly what I was trying to get to. Is I feel like there should be more ordering going on the map. Like I should be able to make more choices onto the map.
Completely fair.
Yeah.
It's more like, hey, I'm a nanny and my babies are crying. which baby am I going to change the diaper for first?
Yeah. So if you've ever been a jungler on Smite or League of Legends,
that's 100% what it's like.
Then that's what you're basically playing in Dynasty Warriors. At least when it comes to the map selection. Now, when it comes to your first question, I remember it now because I forgot your question, was on like weapon choices and diversity. I only got to play with the I was still mastering the sword. I only got to play with one weapon. I haven't played very much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you're missing out.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't got to try to diversify my portfolio and weapons.
You should. I mean, look, I'm a big fan of like number 3 in particular, but like you have like each weapon's different. So like the big ass sword, your whole thing is you charge attacks the entire time and you're dodging or weaving or doing little minor bumps and stuff until you're fully charged, and then you do a big ass attack that knocks out a whole bunch of people.
Okay.
Or your ring blades, you throw those and they come back to you at certain times, or you run them and throw them again and you get a combo. And there's like all these different weapons have a lot of mechanics to them that aren't just like in the older games. Oh, this one has more reach. Oh, this one hits faster. You know, there's a lot of actual mechanical.
You can just sit there, just like slam your controller on the table and just like kill people.
At least,
all right, they're all dead.
The combo that I mastered, the only one that I noticed that I can do with the sword was I'm really good at knocking people up in the air and then holding them up in the air with the sword. So that's what I do. So I think it's X 3 times, then Y once, and then you spit like I know it's X Y to knock them up in the air, and then you hit them 4 times, and then you knock them up again, and then you hit them some more up in the air. So like, and then that's the sword combo. That at least that's what I'm looking for when I'm fighting the boss. The mechanics are going on. It's like when can I put in that combo and just up in the air? You know what I mean? Slice and dice up in the air. Oops.
But so you mentioned what you would do to fix the game.
Yeah.
What would you do, Dave? Now that you see, where are you at? What I know it's Dynasty Warriors, but what's the actual name of this Dynasty Warriors?
Dynasty Warriors Origins.
Dynasty Warrior Origins. What would you do to improve the game based on your experience with it, and where are you at with it currently?
I really like the mechanics from the Fire Emblem games where you actually order your troops. Like you'll say, hey, this general go there. I think it's exactly what Dom's talking about. Because you have like guards that follow you around in this one, and you can do different tactics like charge or arrow volley or different things like that. But they're on a cooldown, and it's just your dudes immediately around you. I am 2/3 to the game right now. I'm in chapter 3 where you actually pick a lord to serve and like you're killing your former allies and stuff.
I saw that. You were like, people were like offering their service for you to serve them or whatever.
Yes, correct. They're like you're basically the prom queen and everybody wants to go out with you.
Right? I mean, you are a hot Chinese twink.
Okay, number one thing I would change, character customization. I hate this fucking K-pop character.
But you're cute, baby. You're cute.
Listen. Listen, I might be gay. I might be gay now. Listen, I'm not gonna lie. That dude's pretty hot.
You know why? Because he's feminine as shit. Yeah. He's a fucking twink.
Hey, listen, you're just mad.
Twink,
you're just mad. You're just mad because he's beautiful. He's beautiful. All right, leave him alone. He's beautiful. The Wanderer is beautiful. We'll just call him the Wanderer.
So, character customization, actual strategic elements. Better difficulty scaling. I think it's really easy to get over leveled, and then that sense of like, oh shit, I'm actually losing some fights completely goes away.
On that
and when
note,
that happens, it stops getting
I purposely go out of my way to not do any of the extra stuff on the map because I saw that coming, and I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna go straight for the boss.
I wanted to do that too.
I wanted to do that too. Want to get the full game, right?
But I want like they added character bonds and stuff from like Fire Emblem where you get closer with these different characters. And it's not even about the unlock. It's about like the story and getting to know what they're like and seeing how they interact with this character and finding out more about your character because of course they had to do the amnesia thing, of course. But
you mean to say that they have amnesia,
just like Dynasty Warriors?
Yes,
just like Dynasty Warriors Origins. We're gonna forget about the last 9 games.
Yes, exactly.
Dynasty Warriors, we're sorry.
But the reason why I care about that is because the writing on this is actually You go from like, okay, here's a good example, and I'm gonna shut up because this show's not about me, but
No, I mean you're sitting here with us.
I know. But okay, so there's a guy named Dong Zhuo. He's a dong, right? He's a fat piece of shit, right? And he's always been a fat piece of shit.
What does that have to do with dong?
His name's Dong Zhuo.
Yeah.
What is
Like
dong?
penis. He's a big dick.
And
what does being a fat shit have to be
And
doing
Cao
with
Cao was a cow?
Dong like dick, like pee.
like a dickhead or like
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
fat
much.
pee?
He's a fat piece of
Tim,
shit.
how is it taking you so long to get this?
I don't quite get the correlation, but
All right,
continue.
moving on.
A dickhead.
Dong Zhuo, fat piece of shit. In the actual novel Romance of Three Kingdoms, it says it takes like 3 or 4 weeks for his cremation to end because he's that fat. I'm not even joking.
They got him on low. And
Listen, I just think that was whoever was in the office just really hated it.
It was right.
The scribe in China was just like,
This guy didn't hold the door open for me one time, so
this fat,
your funeral took 3 weeks, you piece of shit.
this fat.
I'm so sorry. Okay, shutting up, moving on.
No, this is good. Keep going.
He goes,
Keep
he goes
roasting him.
All right, so fat piece of shit in the older games and in the novel, he's just like, oh, I'm gonna take over because I can now, and I'm fat, and I'm gonna fuck all the women, eat all the food. Literally, that's just all he is, right? But in this one, they add a layer to his character of basically Darwinism. He believes that the strong's destiny is to conquer the weak. If you don't have strength, then it's your fault.
You know what? Yeah.
And they add that to that character.
That's just what I seen because he just entered the fight on the last Yellow Turban. You're right.
Correct.
Yeah, I did
and
notice
they set
that.
him up early too. They don't do that in the other games.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, if you haven't played the games before, you'd be like, okay, this guy's kind of a dick, but at least he's like leading people and like trying to solve this situation.
Yeah.
And then later it kind of shows like how he, his situation is the
100%
right
agree.
one.
You're right on.
And they didn't do that in the older games. And that level of writing, each character having their own motivations, their background, it really makes you want to sit there and interact. When you beat chapter 1, you're going to get this amazing cutscene with the leader of the Yellow Turbans that is just going to be like, dude, that was actual art. That was beautiful. So in my opinion, the writing is why I tolerate like doing all this extra shit so I can actually get those cutscenes, see these depths of these characters that didn't exist in the previous games.
Yeah.
Now, I know that Dom's kind of just like plowing through it and just doing the core campaign stuff, so the campaign's more difficult for him, so that's more of a challenge. You choose a difficulty when you go through this game?
Yes, we're both playing on the hardest.
You're both on the hardest. And then the other aspect is these other side quests, do they actually have a profound impact on your core storyline? Like, do you get different dialogue options based on who you talk to and who you make friends with? Or
Not unless it's just the relations, but I would say no. It seems to me I doubt the game goes that deep or that far.
Yeah, you're not going to get like a Mass Effect type ending where like certain people live or die based off of if you interacted with them or not. It's not there. It's just entirely the side like bonds, pretty much. Each character has like a bond level of like 1 through 5. And the more you interact with them on the battlefield or pair up with them or do their side quests, you'll get different cutscenes with them at those bond levels.
Okay.
But it's not like, oh, you helped Zhang Liao, therefore this battle gets won a lot easier. It's not like that.
I mean, I think it would be a better game.
Sure.
It would like tie it together a bit better. I forgot what you said would be the better, other than what Dom says, what would be the better things to add to the game.
Character customization, strategy elements. And I guess since we're talking about strategy elements being like, hey, command this guy to go do that. Yeah. And then the third thing would be, like we're talking about the writing actually impacting the story and maybe changing some things around. So like if you have a bond level with this guy, maybe this character lives or something like that. Like, I don't know.
So you feel like it's kind of railroaded. Do you think you'll play through the campaign again?
Yes.
Why?
I think there's another difficulty that unlocks after you beat it. There's that already. And then at minimum, I'm going to reload my save from chapter 3 so I can play through the other factions because I'm about to choose my faction and I want to see. And that's actually one thing they did really well too, is you actually want to play all the factions because they feel very distinguished. And one that was always kind of ruled as like the bad guys is not just the bad guys anymore. There's a very good motivation to them. So, I want to play through all the factions.
I know that back when Dom used to play it in high school, he would always talk about like how he gave each of the different factions, like one of his family members, like would be the ruler of that faction.
Wait, really?
Because I think they used to have it because the older Dynasty Warriors, what we want is we want the customization, because you already got the weapons in there. Just give us the character customization, or
Correct.
at least the cheap version of the swap out stuff. That's one thing we loved about the Dynasty Warriors is eventually they introduced huge character customization. You can do everything. So many choices in weapons and armors and stuff like that, and you'd be able to name them. You'd be able to have your own characters. I would make my own family members and stuff like that, like kind of like the Red family, but it kind of is based off family. They're known for being a huge family.
Correct.
The southern Chinese people, so you kind of like play that, and then all my characters would be named people I know, family members, doing all that stuff like
That's
that.
great. Was that
Yeah.
Empires then?
Huh?
Was that Dynasty Warriors Empires then, or was that just an actual?
I can't remember. It's been so long. It's been 10 plus 15 years.
I remember just Dom bitching about his sister taking over all his territory.
That's right. They had like an empire system, or if your family member's on the battlefield and they come back you up and save you, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so much fun.
I
love that.
It would create so many good moments like that, like little things like that. Yeah, they just make a huge difference. So like, well, that's right. You got to make your own generals and stuff too. It's all coming back too now. It's all coming back. Yeah,
I mean that's why I figured I'd bring it up, because
I'm
like I know the
surprised you
games
remembered that, because like
I remember
didn't.
random stuff. I don't have a great memory, but random stuff like that cracks me up.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be like, well, what would Tim be? Tim would be like using this weapon or something like that. I wouldn't know now what the like. You think like that? It's like, how would they operate? What would they be? Would they be aggressive, defensive, neutral? What weapons they'd use? All that stuff. Yeah,
Dude, honestly, I
they
have no
need to
idea
bring
what
that
I'd
back.
be like in that kind of game. Like I don't know what I'd be like, because I think that a lot of what your weapon choice comes down to is honestly a lot of like what your physical build is.
You know what?
Right?
They can really do anything. Just add on anything and just do it well. Like if you wanted to do like go down the customization route, do that and do more of like an empire mode. Just whatever you do, just add more on top of it and just do it well. Like put it simply.
Not to dwell on this too much longer, but I did want to ask too, because it sounded like you, like most people, had franchise fatigue with this series. Like, hey, I'm not buying Dynasty Warriors
And
10.
I played World
It's
of Warcraft
no
for
different.
the last 15 years.
That's bad.
Yeah.
But okay, so what about Origins made you say, okay, it's not Dynasty Warriors 10 because of this. I'm gonna buy it and try it.
Well, the first thing was you. Like I didn't even know a Dynasty Warriors Origin was even coming out until you mentioned something. And then of course, like, believe it or not, I do listen to people.
I don't believe it actually. This motherfucker lying.
You know what? A lot of people tell me I don't listen, but I think they're just projecting, because I'm not. I probably have some form of ADHD, and I do have a bit of hearing loss. It's probably those combined why people think I don't listen. But when I listen, I remember. You know what I mean? But no, Dave spoke so highly of it, so I was like, Dave's not an idiot. Believe it or not,
Thanks.
you know what I mean? Trust me, I've listened to some people's opinion, and I go, well, it's been like 3 tries, not anymore.
What try is Tim on?
We'll try
So I went. So I thought there's a free demo, played it, and I was impressed. Now I've played games that I haven't played in years, and even after 3 years, and you're still selling the same garbage with Pokemon. Sorry, Pokemon fans, you guys need to get off the crack. It's garbage. Stop buying it.
So I used to really love Pokemon as a kid, and I think that the formula, it has something to do with just like the collection aspect of it and taking care of your animals, like the Neopet type thing. There's something that's like, it is addictive about it, but you are right. They are just reprinting the same game, and they're buggy.
Pokemon?
And
Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, the only other thing I was going to say is I want to see Pokemon succeed because I grew up with it. But when you see a game like Power Word come out and just do everything that you want to see in Pokemon done, and they still refuse to release that game, like Pokemon Arceus should have been Power World. I don't know why that wasn't Power World, but when you play the game, it's a great game. It was the first like real open world 3D type of game, aside from like Sword and Shield, which I guess was sort of like a 3D type, whatever.
Yeah.
But Arceus could have been that MMO type of game that you work together and, you know, do things with your friends, which I think is missing for Pokemon. I'm not a introverted, not fully introverted person. I will only be comfortable just playing by myself for 20 hours of Pokemon for no reason. You know, I want to be able to go out there and interact with friends and battle them with my Pokemon and all that stuff like that and go on adventures.
Yeah.
But no Pokemon game offers that.
Oh, there's still not a gold mine. What's better than gold?
Diamond. Platinum.
You know what? You know
Uranium.
Jade.
You know what? Maybe
sapphire.
maybe uranium. Maybe uranium. There is a uranium mine still left untapped. But Pokemon's game potential has not even been tapped to, because even Power World was trash. I instantly fun world it. What it gave you was a glimpse and teaser of what we should have had.
I agree.
5-10 years ago.
I agree.
And whoever wants to claim whoever wants to claim the first place first it's gonna be amazing. But I think we're getting off topic on that one. But
It kind of leads into it. Again, what makes you give an old series like that a chance after being uninterested for so long? Is it just a friend recommending it to you?
No, it's
We tried the demo too.
It's actually, it all comes down to gameplay. We all know this.
True.
It all comes down to gameplay. And even like I came back and played a Pokemon game. I don't know which one it was. It was after 3 years. And even coming back after 3 years, you still see improvements and changes, but for 3 or 4 year changes, it's not enough. Like, this is interesting, good, but it wasn't enough. It's like
dude, this should have been a patch. I'm like, what?
Exactly. It was like, it felt like a patch. It was like new, fresh, interesting, but still garbage. Still same old garbage.
I mean, like, how can you justify that though when Nintendo, Niantic, or not Niantic? What the hell? What was the name of the Pokemon company? What are they called?
Pokemon Company.
No, they're not. They have another name for their Pokemon company. I'm pretty sure.
It's literally the Pokemon Company. I'm telling you.
Okay, I'll believe you, Dave. He does play Pokemon Go still. But whenever they release a game, they make millions upon millions of dollars.
I know.
Like, it doesn't matter how good or bad it is.
And that's why
it doesn't matter.
And that's why it'll never change, because the people can't let go of the. And you know what? There may be. So I was gonna say something else, but it's both. The companies know they're abusing the people, and the people don't want to let go of the thing they love. Kind of like football players. You don't want to play some made up fantasy team somewhere. You want to play the people, the game that you know and love on the screen. So even if a new football game is created, they still want it to be the NFL, and they have a vice grip on that. And till the people who play the game let go of what they love, it's all coming. If you love something, let it go. It's never going to change.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of the internet. Something that people don't talk about, the power of the community, the people that do have the ultimate power, is when the people get together and say, fuck you for abusing us and just milking us, change does happen. Like Blizzard has done, I wouldn't say a 180, but they've definitely done some angles. They're starting
They're talking like it's like different angles, and like during sex, like a family relationship. It's like, all right, I'll try something new in the bedroom.
They're on the right. They're finally starting to realize, am I the baddie? They're starting to realize it a little bit, but
more. More?
I swear I'll shut up about this, but I want to help you out with this one. A good example is Zelda. Think about Skyward Sword. It sold so poorly, and then Breath of the Wild. They sat there, they hunkered down for 6 years and produced a completely different kind of game that changed that type of gaming for a very long time. You know?
They put in the work. They did hard work. They did the thinking, the big thinking, and then they put in the work. You know what I mean? But I keep forgetting what the question was.
Here's my answer. I want to see a Pokemon game where it's like Dynasty Warriors, except it's like the Pokemon Wars, and you're going through and you're just murdering like hundreds of Pokemon. All the
you're a Charizard, there's a bunch of little Pidgeys in front of you.
all the Pidgeys.
I was gonna
barbecue it.
But what makes Dynasty Warriors or any game come back to the franchise is improvements. But I guess the real question is what kind of improvements. But if we're talking about Dynasty Warriors specifically, because is, like I said, I already mentioned it. I don't believe, unless number 9 have it, I never seen a dodge or a parry system. It kind of almost feels like a fighting game almost at times. Definitely, it kind of feels like there's like a little mini game, mini fighting game, especially when you get into these 1v1 duels, which I only seen the demo. It's like, complaint, I think the game has a little bit too slow of pacing. But it's cool that there is stuff. I've been playing the game for a couple hours, and then there's still stuff to come that I know that's coming. Like, I still haven't even got my troops yet, which it does kind of give you that feeling. Oh, you know what? You're doing well, mercenary. Here's some troops. take control, or like, and then there's kind of like this duel where it's kind of like you have to take at least the amount of hits possible, and if you get the bar full, you instantly kill the dude, which is pretty cool. And then like the troops surround you, they got that. But it's just the gameplay. These are all gameplay things. They have this new thing where the leader will like rally the troops. They'll do this huge battle. It looks epic, like
large scale battles. Yeah,
the charges coming in. There's like stages where like this is like the big battle at the gate's going to begin. You're charging it, and then the commanders each have their special abilities, and all the troops around them will all line up, and they'll charge at you, or they'll shoot
Different
arrows,
tactics.
and the air and the ground will light up. You got to dodge it, almost like World of Warcraft, like boss fights, or just any like shooter dodge game where you have to dodge the stuff on the ground. So they're adding all these new things into the game. It's like, good. Now do this and add on top of it. Maybe
you're still setting.
He's getting animated.
Hey, people like it when you talk with your hands, I guess.
That's how you know he's Italian.
But now make it more, well, easily, like it's easy to say, hard to do, obviously, but make it more dynamic. Maybe make it more randomized, because from what I've seen, it seems like it's an event. It's kind of triggered. It doesn't seem like it's like built into the gameplay of like it's not dynamic, stuff like that. I'm trying to think of anything else, but specifically on Dynasty Warriors. But I think that's about it when it comes to like gameplay, at least so far that I've seen, like changes that they made. They've added stuff to it. Not only that, it looks better. It isn't just hack and slash weapons. There's all that stuff like that. It's gameplay. There's more complexity to the game.
It just feels like there's genuinely a lot of new high quality things.
Yeah,
like I don't know what to say.
That.
And it's like, until you sit and talk about each individual thing by itself, it's hard to really explain what it is. And then if you talk about the thing by itself, it's like, how do you extrapolate that into a bigger thing? It's kind of harder than just saying, add new good things. Like, do your job.
Yeah, exactly. If I was good at this, I think I should be working and getting paid for it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
There's only so far you can take a critic. I'm not going to do your job for you. You know?
All you can say is how you experienced
I'm trying to be
the
least critic of like, didn't like it, terrible. What about it? No, I just didn't like it. You know So it's like,
that's why I'm a big critic when it comes to like, when I'm going to give something a bad review or something that's not perfect. I have to be able to say why I think it's not perfect. But if you're ready, Dom, if you need to use the restroom, we'll go ahead and move into the next topic.
Are we still recording?
Yeah,
I just restarted the recording now.
Yeah, we're starting the recording now. Dave put on a jacket because he's a bitch.
Listen, I can help you keep your house at 40 degrees, dude.
I'm 3 shots in, and it's not terrible, but a little bit. I can feel it creeping on my toes and fingers.
Sorry, that's me.
The cold starts at your fingers and your toes. It's your extremities.
Okay.
Do you know why people get frostbite on their toes and fingers first? It's because it's where it's harder for your blood to get out there. It's small. Heat. Whatever. Do I got to tell you about fucking physics?
No. I watched this channel called Scary Interesting. I know all about how people freeze to death in the wilderness.
That's good to know, you psychopath. Okay. You sounds like you had a plan with there. It's like, Dave, you might throw you outside. Be careful.
All right, let's get this next question going. You ready? Let's spin it up.
Dude, you're cranking on that thing tonight.
Yeah, I just want to see it go.
No, that's 2 spins. Whoa.
All right.
Oh, this one's clear. Here we go.
You're not supposed to look at it. What are you two doing?
Yeah, you cheated.
Well,
I cheated.
I can see it. I'm sorry. I'm too tall. I can see inside of it.
Oh, ooh.
I can't hear you all the way down there.
All right, you two. Moving on. Question number 4. Should TikTok be banned?
I don't want
That's the
Should
tequila, huh?
TikTok be banned? I'm gonna trust the courts to make the decision, because I don't know anything about TikTok. I've heard rumors about the whole Chinese spyware, and I do despise the CCP, and we should take caution against them at all costs. But
so here's the thing: the courts have already ruled that it should be banned.
then why isn't it banned?
Trump rescinded that order effectively and paused it. I don't know what the exact stipulation is on it, but it was supposed to go into effect before a week before the inauguration. But Trump actually made it to where TikTok did not have to remove their services being accessible, because I think for like 17, 18 hours it was down over that weekend, right? And I know that you watch short content, correct?
Yeah, but I don't watch TikTok because
but you still watch short form content, which that stuff is going to come from TikTok.
Yeah, a lot of it is recycled from TikTok. A lot of it is,
So if that's a media that you consume, that you enjoy, like, aren't you afraid that you're going to lose kind of like your daily entertainment?
I don't need it. I don't care.
Are you sure?
I'm dead. I'm dead sure.
What about the free? So like, I don't really know where you stand on like. I know that you said that you don't like the CCP, but why don't you like the CCP?
Well, I actually watched. Shout out to. I wish I knew the channel, but there's like, I think this one's called like China News or whatever, and I can't remember. I wish I could. I watched them, and the reason I hate the CCP is because they're suppressing a lot of information. Like, you don't hear anything about in or out of China, and there's a reason why. It's because they don't want you to hear it. And thank God for the Chinese people. The Chinese people are amazing. Obviously, it's just the government, kind of like our government.
Yeah.
The people are. Everybody's amazing. It's just not the government. The people who are in charge. People are making the decisions. And communism, I'm going to put it simply, never works, because how is it communism about the people when only few people are in charge? It always comes down to some kind of tyrant, someone having overreach. It's not communism. If communism is about the people, then it should be people's choice, and it's not the people's choice.
So do you think that, because this is the first time this has ever kind of happened in American society where, or at least as far as I'm aware, it's the first time that our aspects of being able to choose what media we consume is going to be dictated by the government effectively. Do you think that them banning TikTok is a bad precedent to set in terms of what we're allowed to consume ourselves?
Yes, it's bad because it's a contradiction to freedom, or I guess like, but again, freedom in itself is a paradox in itself. But so there has to kind of be, obviously the extremes are the easy example, but it really comes down to the code. Like whoever can read the code, and this is why open software is good. Whoever can go in there and read and how much information is being sent, or information at all is being sent to the government. I think it is the real answer that we need to our questions, because obviously our government's spying on us, but we kind of accept it. I think none of them should have access to our information, anything like that.
Does it really matter if the government's spying on you?
It does.
Why?
Because I don't need people to judge me off the weird porn I use or my political ideals that we've seen. Luckily not in America, but we've seen in other countries where literally the people who were protesting in Canada got their bank accounts shut down. You cut off people's bank accounts.
It was like the truck drivers or something, right?
But think about it. You cut off the money. Like, people want to sit here and say that, oh, money doesn't matter to happiness. Yeah, to a certain point. We need money to survive. Money is survival. Money is heat. Money is food. You cut off people's survival. Fuck you.
Yeah. So if you look at it from the American perspective, like, you can't use something that you illegally ascertain information wise against them in courts, or you can't leverage it against them. So as a Chinese citizen, yes, I understand why something like TikTok could be bad, or any social media platform that you access through their internet services without a VPN or whatever else, because they can look at that and say, hey, you're losing social credit or whatever else. But as an American citizen, why does it matter if the government knows, or the government, whatever entity has potential access to your information? Why does it matter if they see what kind of porn you're watching or what kind of political activism stuff you're looking at? Why does that ultimately affect you? Do you think that, who do you think has the time to care about the average person in terms of what they're watching, and what would their potential ramifications be for them looking at you specifically?
For the majority of the time, and the people who have access to your information and are doing on a daily basis to your job, it probably doesn't matter. That's not what I'm concerned with. What I'm concerned with is if you're someone who's special, someone wants because like, it's the people who are in those positions that I'm afraid of who are going to abuse it. And we have countless examples of people abusing. Who's watching the watchers? Nobody. And the only way to have recourse for that is to either have some kind of system set up, or have a way for people to strike back. And the thing is that the people, to have them to strike back, they got to work together, and people don't want to work together. It's hard to work together. It's hard to get people to band together to do something. And so what I'm talking about is, if someone's your political rival, there's people out there, the way that they operate, they will do anything they can to discredit you, make you look bad, stretch the truth. So if you're a celebrity or someone who's trying to get in political office, and they will abuse it. That's what we're worried about. We're worried about the small majority of people who will abuse that power. Where if or people, like, let's say even on a job resume, let's say somehow people find out that you're in some weird pup play porn or something. Like, I don't need to be judged on that. I need to be judged on my ability. And there's people who whether I don't want to take a crack at religion, because religious fervent people are the easiest people to point out, is people to judge you for who you are and not give you a job or a raise because of that, or not get you into anything. It's like, no, I don't. That doesn't matter. Can I do the job, and do it well? You don't need to know that information. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Now, if you have suspected I'm a pedophile or a murderer or some kind of thief or something like that, yeah, get authorization, and then you can have access for it. You know what I mean? Like, we need systems and stuff to be put in place. We also need systems put in place, probably need a whole new government system to remove people we don't like. When people are in positions of power inside government, besides what I think the president, you can't remove anybody. They're in there for life. You got people fucking having heart attacks on the podium on the news. and we can't get rid of them. We have no way to be like, hey, the people are voting. Like, we don't want you. Get out. There's no, you're in there. You're in there for good. That doesn't seem like a good system to me.
So there are a lot of things you kind of talked about here. The first thing I wanted to kind of bring up is, wouldn't you think that it would be necessary, unfortunately, for there to be some kind of whoever's watching your internets or monitoring stuff for national security purposes, wouldn't it be a necessary evil that they could do that? Only because, if not anything else, that exterior entities are doing the same thing. And if we only have people who are only playing by the rules in American society, doesn't that put us at a disadvantage when it comes to social warfare against these other countries? If we're only playing by the rules. So you mean like subterfuge, or just the monitoring in itself? So let's say that you have a political dignitary, a senator or whatever else, and the Chinese government has tapped into their friends' devices to monitor them, to try and find some kind of dirt on them so they could leverage that against them to make them pass policies that would be detrimental to American growth. Wouldn't we want the same people monitoring people who potentially live in America that are Chinese citizens but have relationships to family members of the CCP, that they could leverage that against them as well to prevent them from doing something, or do something that's in American interest? Is that not a necessary evil? If they're doing it over there where they don't have...
It is. It is. It's like, I'm not against spying or subterfuge, because information, like I said, war could be waged on many fronts. Information's one of them. Maybe for physical military action, I would say it would be necessary, but I don't see how it would be necessary for the majority of people spying on them daily, because you have to have some kind of inclination, something happening in the physical world, to try to go hack into their account, or kind of you have to have you should have a reason to go in and look at somebody. I don't think you should just be monitoring everybody as a blank slate. That doesn't make any sense to me. So for military wise, yes. You want to know where, if you have to fight China, you want to know where all their secret bases are and stuff like that. Yeah, I get that. Do that. Go ahead, do that. Because if we're not on good terms with them, yeah, you can't act like everybody is like you. There may be somebody who's willing to do things that you don't want to do. So yeah, for that. But for your own people, your own country, no, only for the people that it matters, like the psychopaths, the pedophiles, the people who are doing real harm. Maybe mass drug operations. That should be your focus. And I don't think spying on everybody is going to get you there. It just doesn't seem necessary for me. So no, it's a no.
Mm-hmm. So when you look at something like TikTok, then you are in favor of it getting banned. Is there any platform that you would be?
No, I'm not.
Wait, you're not in favor of a game ban?
No.
Wait, I thought you said that you were.
I said I would be in favor of the courts, but I guess the courts did. And if somebody, like I said, I don't know much on it. Someone might show me some information where it's like, no, TikTok's not actually using the information, I guess, in a very nefarious ways. Like, I really don't know much on the subject, so I wish I could. I'm not going to sit here and just say that TikTok should be banned. I find TikTok annoying because, like, I've watched videos on there. But that's on the content matter itself. But no, I don't want to make that assumption so quick.
There's a less like surface level issue when it comes to like data sharing and like them having access to your data and who you're talking to and having access to your phone. There's also the aspect of potentially diluting the minds of the youth, where TikTok can push less intellectual based short form content to our youth and force that onto their youth to make their youth more intellectual, or at least intellectually stimulated than our youth. Or B, you could also do cultural warfare where they could make our youth hate the American government, and that could force us to hate ourselves from within rather than them having to do it against us, right?
Yeah, but here's where I think holding on to our morals will help us, because I don't think just you can go down the fear spiral as far down as you want to go. And I think what makes America is the philosophy and the morals, the ideas behind it. If you make a country that is, we're declining instead of getting better. So, but at least that's my opinion on that. If you create a country based off truth and individual freedoms and stuff like that, I believe that will eventually bleed into other countries naturally, because that isn't a country idea. That's a human idea, and everybody's human. Now, if you want to get into patriotism and drawing lines on the map and stuff like that, that's not for everybody. So I feel like through open trade, capitalism, free flow for everybody, I think that's the way to change the world. It's through the ideas, the beliefs, the kindness. That's how you get people on your side. You don't just sit there and spy on everybody, isolate, that just causes more. That's only going to end in violence.
Yeah.
Arguably, that's how United States has functioned since World War II, right?
Yep.
Is spying operations, Cold War,
CIA experiments.
Yeah, correct. Sabotaging.
We don't want to go down
sovereign
that
governments, especially in Latin America.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, we've rebuilt Japan from the ground up after we nuked them.
Yep.
That's always
and what's sad to me, not to cut you off, but what's sad to me is, like, I look at pre-World War II Japan and then post-World War II Japan, and I can't really look and say the American Empire was a bad thing to happen to Japan. I don't know. I can't really say that.
Yeah.
I feel bad that all those people died, but like, look at the fascism that was occurring in Japan and the things that were happening in the Chinese mainland by them.
Nobody's innate.
But would the Germans say the same thing about America? What if Germany invented the nuke before us and nuked us and we conceded and they took us over?
Yeah.
Would they say the same thing about us?
But their ideas would have been fascism rather than, and again, I guess you could say there's a level of American fascism, but it's still driven by capitalism, economic incentive, the idea of freedom and equal rights for humans. Germany would have brought the idea of superior genetic structures and things like that, rather than what America brought, which is, hey, we want your diverse ideas. We want to actually improve things economically and things like that.
And we're going to be facing that again here soon with genetic engineering and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's coming. I mean, it already exists. You can already genetically engineer babies, right?
Put very simply, you can either go toward unity or division. And hopefully we're pushing toward unity. But
I agree.
But it doesn't look like we're going down that route. It looks like we're going to the division.
Well, there are people who benefit from division. So you're always going to see people pushing back against that. Yeah. But I think, like you said, unity is the human idea.
The only way you're going to get unity is by stopping these wars, open trade to everybody, stop exploiting countries with massive debt. It's not even get started with that, with the World Economic Forum putting countries in debt. There's a reason you would think with all the technology and how things are and how much time Africa, why don't these other countries flourish? Why aren't they building up fast, catching up fast?
Yeah, I mean, like you see China, they set up their things.
They're all in debt. They're all poor, and the reason that is because of the systems that are in play right now, like companies and countries exploiting other countries, like for their own gains. It's just like, so if you want to say, so like I said, so like of course you're gonna have to do the dirty work because the world is still an ugly, dark place. So the secret services are needed. The spying is needed, but I think it needs to be more specific and more purpose driven. Everybody and everything, fear mongering, controlling everything. That's not the way to go. The people aren't stupid. You may think they're stupid. People treat them like they're stupid, but even the people who don't pay attention to anything can know when you're lying. And eventually, and the internet, thank God the internet, the information is out everywhere. They know now. They're not stupid. They know they're being manipulated, lied to. Let's not even go down that route. But,
I'm sure we can get down.
But our own Facebook and Twitter has already there was just a podcast the other day where Mark Zuckerberg admitted that the government was sending them memos on what to put on their platform.
I mean, that's pretty. I mean, that's
our own government
does
it. Our own government does it. You know what I mean? For their own agenda. So like,
I mean, they were threatening to leverage all that against them, and I see the position he's in. Right, that comes to the aspect of free speech.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think that everybody should have free speech on social media platforms? Do you think that these private entities should have total autonomy over whether or not they who can post whatever they want on their platform?
I'm a 99% believer in free speech because I believe.
But what if it's like blatantly just violent information that it's just not true, just to stoke people's anger?
No. Even the information that is completely like a lot of conspiracy theories. I don't know, at this point, half the conspiracy theories are true, half of them are wrong at this point. It used to be the minority, now they're all right, but half of them are right. But because for someone who lives on the internet, when it comes to video games, where I've seen community and free information kind of almost fix itself, almost like an ecosystem. Like, like when the nerds get mad, companies change, believe it or not. You just got to get mad enough. Like, as we've seen
GameStop.
Yeah. When people have had enough, or like there's people who create YouTube channels just dunking and debating people, the community, and they get paid and rewarded for doing that. So it kind of fixes itself. So if you're going to sit there and dictate in this algorithm that throws the baby out with the bathwater, yeah, some of it should have been deleted. Yeah, does the racist, violent stuff need to be removed? Absolutely, but your algorithm's not perfect, and you murdered who knows how many people's careers or YouTube channels that could have blossomed that have never happened in this timeline. Who knows what other timeline they could have flourished in? But because of that, you shotgun down good people. You know what I mean?
The algorithm terrifies me.
And so like there needs to be like, and there's people who will take care of it for you. You don't even got to do it, and you just have to give them both options. You can't just say this is the truth. No, let the people, they're smart enough, let them figure it out themselves. Let them share and trade stuff, and like just have an open algorithm. Don't sit here and just dictate what is truth. Sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction.
Even the stuff that is very obviously provable as to be as to be wrong.
It's often complicated and messy.
So
too.
Let's say that somebody uses AI art to make a president say something that they hadn't actually said to spread misinformation. Let's say that China put that onto the platform to say that, Trump said this, or, Biden said that, or whatever else.
Yeah.
Is that an element of free speech? Should that be taken down? Because we're entering an aspect of society where we can't really always tell what is truthful and what's not truthful, even blatantly so. What were you going to say?
I think it all just comes back to we need a better mechanic and better definition of what free speech is. It should be something along the lines of, and let's just throwing this out here, freedom of genuine speech, or freedom of thoughts that are legitimate. Like, I don't know, non-deceptive, non-harmful thoughts. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, as long as you're not maliciously throwing something out there in bad faith, you should be able to share your opinion about something. Now, if you're doing it deliberately to harm others, or you're doing it as a way that the truth is something different, but you're doing it to be misleading, that is not freedom of speech as the founding fathers intended that.
That's gonna be so hard to like prove one way or the other. And I know that's kind of somewhat obvious, but like you could always say whoever you don't agree with is just saying that to be hurtful, right? Like you look at it from the religious aspect, a lot of religious people don't believe in like transgender rights and stuff like that, and they'll say that anything they say against them as a religious person is hate speech. So they could, if they are the ruling class that controls these social media algorithms, like who are they to say like what is justified?
This is where I feel like the masses need to choose, because you've already seen governments getting out of control with telling people what they can and cannot say. Canada, Europe, I'm looking at you. But let the people figure it out. A million minds are better than the few who are in charge.
I want to agree with you, but like right now, the only thing that we can the only way we're able to discern what AI art is or AI video is through very nuanced
That's
stuff.
A different discussion.
I mean, it's the same discussion because it's happening right now. We have AI music, we have AI voice generation. You're going to start seeing a swath of this stuff that's going to come in and manipulate all these images to make you see what they want you to see. And it's not some ambiguous government figure. It's somebody who hates the other side that is going to use that as a tool to stoke the other side and get the argument that they want to see.
Yeah, there are people out there who will do it, but so the question is what the solution? At least when it comes to, we're probably going to need people don't want to have to be forced to put their identity on the internet. But I know one solution, at least for bots. Now this isn't for AI. I'll get to AI, but because like trust is being broken down. You know, it's like because like you don't know what to trust anymore, and it is going to be a problem. So how do you build trust back into it that's actually verifiable, or people are going to be able to trust it again? I think you're maybe going to have to make software that's kind of built to locked up maybe specific cameras, brands that can only capture and print what it does. Maybe, I don't know, I'd imagine if it's code, you could somehow design it like that where it's unhackable. Maybe specific cameras that can only do what they see. Or when it comes to IDs, you're gonna have to like, let's say if you want to put let's say like we have Twitter for an instance. There's a post, blue check mark, but the blue check mark is gonna mean something different. The blue check mark means your physical ID, which has been traced to your birth, which has been seen by a doctor, is somehow put onto there, so you know that this is a real person, or at least only one of a real person posting on internet. Where compared to when you see a post, doesn't got the blue check mark, but of course, like the blue check mark means something different. It means ID. In this idea, would mean that you can go, it's there. Now, is this person just trying to be anonymous because they're in danger of a company, of getting fired because the information they want to put out, or something else? Or is this somebody trying to spread misinformation, chaos, trying to just get a rise out of people? That's a partial solution.
I think you can accomplish that too with encryption, right? Like if you have an encryption-based ID, especially with quantum computing, if you could create a quantum computer-based encryption method that is unique and tied to that individual person and can't be cracked within a reasonable
Security
human life.
Would be number one, of course, obviously. Yeah.
Like you would be able to say, hey, this is legitimately me. This is my encryption ID or whatever.
But guess what? The algorithm doesn't give a fuck about that.
Yeah, and
it only cares about what gets engagement. So like, who cares?
The scary part is I don't think there's much people trying to create a solution to this, and we're going to need it. And hopefully when this becomes an issue, usually somehow naturally, the way the world works, it usually sprouts out, and we're going to need to build trust again, because everybody's getting divided, doesn't know what to trust, constantly arguing, and it doesn't lead to anything good. It's only going to lead to violence.
Well, it's like what you're talking about though, where the social ecosystem adapts a way to contend with that, right? Again, like within the nerd culture, you get a person that kind of rallies the troops and says, hey, this isn't cool, stop this, or whatever. Same thing's going to happen with the algorithm. I know you're terrified of the algorithm, but there's going to be something that should all that the algorithm is how do I dynamically feed people content they want, or content that I want to give them? But that's not going to be where it ends, right? It's scary right now because we don't see what the end is in mind, but there's going to be some type of cultural or social structure that comes in and can balance the needs of that. I don't know if it's going to be, hey, AI is able to compete with itself and say, hey, this is this kind of feed or this kind of algorithm.
Not in a capitalistic society, because in a capitalistic society, whatever is going to be the most successful is all that matters.
Sure,
right?
But I'm thinking long term, like what if you find out a different system from capitalism? Or what if we find out that one capitalistic system failed, another one comes up and says, hey, this failed because algorithms ran wild, therefore we're going to have this checks and balances system. The same thing with our government, right? We have a split 3-branch system of judicial, representative, and executive because we saw things like the Roman Republic failed and became an empire. The empire failed because it was led by an executive branch that went wild. So we balanced these 3 together with this system of judicial, executive, and legislative. Thank you. So, all I'm trying to say is as these problems come up, it may hurt, it may take some time, but it's only scary in that moment because you don't see where it leads to, if that makes sense.
I love how you thank Dom for legislative.
I know. Well, you looked at me, you were talking to yourself.
No, we actually have a telekinetic link, actually.
That's why I'm not afraid of the algorithm, Tim. Him and I share one.
I'm glad you know the name of the branches because I don't.
Well, thanks for letting him know, Dom. All right, let's move on to the next question. We'll follow super behind. Let's go to roll it up.
I work midnights. Let's go.
Everybody works midnights. All right. Next one. Oh, my God. The tequila shot is actually the last one. Tragedy.
That's awful.
There's no cooldown.
Last one's going to be fun.
All right. Let's go.
All right. Number 5. Speaking of... all right, I'm gonna be controversial. People doing anything to win. What would Trump's Civ 7 stats be? So, being specific, Civilization's a video game, and there's world leaders that lead different governments and civilizations.
We have talked about every game I don't play.
So don't worry, you don't need to have played a lot of Civilization to sit here and edit some stats in here. So we have a few examples here to kind of give you a baseline. Dave, you want to go and pull them up right now? I think it'd be fun to just see what we would do for a Trump-based civilization.
to be specific, these are screenshots of mods people have put into Civ already.
I thought this is a meme. Oh,
no,
wow.
no, these are mods. These are the things that people have added for the game that you can play.
So wait, what's
to serve as inspiration for when we create our own.
What's his model look like?
That's I mean, like, yeah. So like, I'm trying to understand. Right next to Donald Trump is like the Lannister symbol. Like, what's going on
That's his symbol, dude.
Is that his symbol? He's the lion.
Military so big, powerful.
That's good. That's good. America spelled America.
America. All right, what's the top line here? Donald Trump. Nation divided. Your cities produce -1 amenity. Your palace produces -25 science and +20 gold. Some legacy governments take 25% less time to earn, some 50% to earn. Okay, next.
I'm waiting for the tariffs to come in. When do the tariffs come in?
Yeah, so tariffs need to be one of them for sure.
Okay. Well, we keep that in mind. We're gonna be making our own here soon. So get some ideas here. Military so strong, so being powerful and strong. +1 extra military slot in any government. +1 movement when your units starts their turn in friendly territory. Space projects increased by 50%. What do you mean? He made Space Force. I think it should be decreased.
No. He's got Elon in it. He's got Doge.
Yeah, he needs a buff to space. We need to consider that in our proposal. Campaign rally. Okay.
+1 gold, +1 amenity, minus science, and minus great works, great writing.
Dude, oddly enough, I saw recently that he had just rescinded some kind of order that got rid of the paper straws from being implemented into restaurants and stuff like that. So we're back to plastic straws, baby.
Wait. Why is anybody dictating what the restaurants can use? Aren't the restaurants allowed to choose whatever they want to?
I mean,
or both?
I think that they ultimately should be able to, but I think when it comes to like ecological issues, the onus should be on the companies that are producing these, not necessarily like the restaurants or the people. But again, moving on.
Okay.
Less regulated industrial zone, no maintenance, +1 gold for each specialist. I don't even know what that is.
Specialist is a worker assigned to that zone.
Okay, I don't really understand.
So you get +1 gold for more people you throw into the mines.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Lowers the appeal of nearby tiles bigly.
Bigly.
What is it?
I approve this.
All right, what do we got next
All right,
here?
next one.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
No, hold on. Dom, you want to read this for us real
Look
quick?
at the symbol.
What is it? Oh my god! That symbol is fan-fucking-tastic.
Wow. Wait, no country has ever prospered that failed to put its own interests first. Both our friends and our enemies put their countries above ours. And we, while being fair to them, must start doing the same. We will no longer surrender this country or its people to the false song of globalism. The nation state remains the true foundation of happiness and harmony. I am skeptical of the international unions that tie us up and bring America down. And under my administration, we will never enter America into any agreement that reduces our ability to control our own affairs. Donald
That sounds
J. Trump.
very presidentially. That has to be an actual
has to
quote.
be like edited.
Yeah, I think this is an actual quote, dude. I think this is an actual quote.
Why did I have to
That
read
has
that?
to be an actual quote. Okay, cities produce a bunch of stuff during a golden age. We love the king day. Cities produce 25 gold, 25% gold.
This is just memes about his mannerisms and words and what he says.
The Trump Tower,
That's his
baby.
wonder. It's the Trump Tower.
And a cultural thing would be like the Home Alone movie.
Dude,
The Home Alone
the
movie?
symbol,
Yeah, Home Alone
Oh, right, because his representation in it. Yeah.
the comb over symbol of his hair is just
Dude,
amazing.
that's actually the best one from this
Yeah,
one.
it is,
that's
it is.
fantastic. I'm gonna have to crop that on or
Yeah,
something.
we'll
That's,
have to add that.
yeah, I'll have to remember that. That's so
He
fucking
looks
funny.
like a cyclops with that symbol.
Yeah, so Dave fucked this up.
All right, listen.
He didn't switch to the PowerPoint, but listen, it's all good now. We
It was
got
a misclick.
yeah, we got it under control. We built our character, Donald Trump. Here he is. If you want to give some clarity on what Mino Rosie O'Donnell means,
That one's dumb. That's a meme.
yeah.
We'll do Doge, reduce city costs or government costs, whatever it is. I don't know how civilization works.
So real quick, it's called Doge. Isn't that like the same thing as like his coin? Did
Yes.
he name it because of his coin?
Yes.
Or? Okay.
It's a meme.
Yeah, but
It's a meme department.
yeah, but it stands for Department of Government Efficiency right there.
I love it.
Oh, by the way, I heard yesterday that supposedly they've already, probably have to double check that, but they've already saved $1 billion in government spending, which
Propaganda. Propaganda. Ain't no way, bro.
is insane.
I
Do
mean,
you know?
let-
Do you
let-
know?
let
Or
me-
you-
let me hear him out.
Or is
Let
that
me
how
hear-
you feel?
Let me hear him out. What did they? What's
That's
what
all
you
I
hear
see.
about it?
So
Okay.
so I'm propaganda as well.
You mean you're the algorithm as well?
You are the algorithm. We found the algorithm. He's right here. Get him.
You're living in the flesh.
Now here's the real question: why do you assume it's propaganda? Let's get deep.
I didn't
Let's
say
get
that.
deeper with
It's
Dom.
such an outlandish claim to save that much money in this short a time.
Well, I can tell you a real fact that you'll want to look up that I know. It was 500,000 or maybe more. Condoms sent to Gaza. How much money saved from the government?
Condoms
We were going to spend.
sent
Send
to
condoms to Gaza, which is a religious country.
No, it's just a country.
I mean, like they're mostly
sure they have
religious.
religion there,
Yeah, but
but
like they don't use
Gaza.
condoms. I'm pretty sure, right? No public evidence.
No money.
Well, that's from aljazeera.com. That's not even. We're not even going to look at that.
No spending cut. Like $50 million for Gaza. Yeah. Yeah. For Gaza. Yeah.
Fact checks. Fact check it from CNN. That's going to be a great fact checking.
Going to be biased as hell. I don't know what
no matter,
polyfact is either.
no matter where you go, it's going to be biased, right? It just depends. You have to look at both sources.
No, the U.S. will not spend $50 million to
No,
fund.
it's not that they did. It's that they were going to. See, that's where they get you in the words.
Stopped from going to.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no evidence that stopped.
There's no evidence of that? So she just made that up?
That was my first time hearing about this stuff.
You know what's happened to them? They use them as a method of making.
A bomb in the bedroom.
What?
So is that actually fake news?
Dude, I love it. I love how much of a meme everything's become. But I want to finish my character. I want to finish building our perfect character.
I know. This is why this works, though, because people just spout things.
Exactly. You
in
don't
a
know.
long string, and
I
it
don't
takes you
trust any of
longer
them.
to verify the claim
Yeah.
than to fucking talk to them.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, this is the problem we're talking about. I don't know who to trust. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right, but who knows?
So, what is the Department of Government officially going to do for our bonuses here? Is this going to be like a building, or like what is this?
Boom. How's that?
I love it. I still want tariffs in here somehow.
Extra gold from trade or from trade routes. Doesn't civilization have trade routes?
Yep.
Yeah, we should definitely do the trade routes thing for the
Yeah, we're
tariffs.
doing it right now.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be called "You Get a Tariff."
Okay.
Yeah. Worst trade deal of all time. You get a tariff. There you go. Is that the proper grammar?
I don't know. That's how you spell tariff.
What is that? Is that thing called between the?
Tariff.
Mhm.
Come on now, Dave.
There.
Thanks. All right, punch it. You might have to.
I want to cover it up.
No, you don't have to cover it up. Oh wait. Oh yeah, that works.
Can't you just make it bigger?
No. I see what he's doing. All right, perfect. Let's punch it out. Get a good.
Great.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our Trump build for Civilization 7 for your recommendation. Anyway, moving on to the last topic of the night.
I'm so glad we made a detour for that. I feel like we really accomplished a lot tonight. Get the shot queued up, Tim. I see you waiting. I see you procrastinating. This is all revenge for you picking on me for
Aw.
effing something up at 3 in the morning.
Why did you spin it? He spinned it.
Oh, wait, what? Hold on. Let me get you back on here. Do that again.
All right, cheers.
Wait, we have to cheers the last one? This is new to me. Just like the condos in Gaza being fake.
Oh my god, it smells so bad.
Yes, do it.
It smells so bad.
I'm already done. I've been done 3
no.
questions ago.
All right, what's the last question, Dave? So I can cover
All
up
right,
all
all
the
right.
pain I'll be making from this.
Oh, here you go, Dom. How has the election affected the cryptocurrency market?
It was a nice little pump, but just like that, little pumps don't last.
Hmm.
The end.
So, do you think that crypto is going to benefit from this election or not benefit?
It already has, but yeah.
No, I mean, like,
If I'm optimistic,
speculative bubbles. I don't know what the term is. I'm not into the crypto market, but I would assume that people speculate a lot around this time of year. But do you think that based off of the deals and the policies that are changing, would you expect it to go up or down, and why would you expect it to go up or down based on what exists right now?
I expect it to go up because people are optimistic, but all investments are speculative because you're speculative either for most people are up, but you're speculative either up or down. And so you never really care what it is at the present. Because if it goes down and you're right, you win. If you go up and you're right, you win. But if it's the opposite, you lose money. That's really how simple it is. But definitely positive because Trump won. Why? Because people think that, but because he made a speech at the Bitcoin conference. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Yeah, he did. He actually
I didn't know he did.
Yeah, he made a speech at even though he doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to crypto.
Can you give me an impression of Donald Trump talking about crypto but not knowing anything about it?
Well, apparently his coin made a lot of money.
Have fun with your little Bitcoins. I prefer cash, but
I understand you're doing great things with these digital coins.
But supposedly, I don't think we've seen this much change happen as soon as a president has ever gone into office. I think that's the first time in my lifetime.
Change? Can you define that?
Like he's been writing, like he pardoned a bunch of people. He's been writing things. From what I hear, I'm not keeping up with it to the day to day, but I hear he's just signing away. He's doing stuff like
it's actually dizzying. Like it's honestly an effective strategy. Like you just do everything at once. They can't even like sit down and hold you down to the fire. It's for any individual topic.
Who's going to, right? I mean, they control Congress.
Yeah,
he
so
put all his judges in.
All that aside, even if he didn't, like it's really hard to kind of hold him accountable for if you don't agree with whatever he's doing. It's really hard to kind of just like make that a big statement.
True.
If everything's a big statement, if everything he's doing is a big change.
Yeah, I may have to be fact checked on this one too, but supposedly Biden, right before he left, because remember it wasn't Harris, even though she looked like she was in office, but Biden also pardoned thousands of people before his term ended, which was weird. I don't know if that's true or not. Probably
every president does that. It's a scumbag thing when they all do it. Trump did it too.
Okay, so for some reason they're all. It's like, is that actually a norm for everybody? Every president
does that
at the end of the
term. Yeah,
first time I'm hearing about it. Well, supposedly both sides did it,
it's
but
a pardon palooza.
Yeah, yeah.
They pardon Turkey every year at Thanksgiving.
You guys see that? You guys see the meme where it's like they pardoned Fauci? Like, wait a second, what did he do?
Yeah, wait,
what the fuck did he do?
There was a lot of controversy around that. That like he was like fear mongering or whatever else, right?
Oh
my
gosh,
yeah. Boy.
Like, listen,
let me get back on the crypto.
What I've heard.
Sorry.
Back to the crypto.
I know I get too off into the weeds, but so the question is, do you think Trump? But yes, because so far he's been actually doing what he said he was going to do, unlike most politicians so far. Whether it's going to be good or not, I don't know. It's more of like a wait and see what happens, like an experiment. Let's see what happens. Hopefully it's good. I'm going to hope for the best. But yeah. But just because people think that he is positive, and if he actually makes tax cuts for crypto profits, then yeah, the price is going to go up.
Did he mention that?
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't know he mentioned. I know he didn't mention tax cuts for like overtime or something.
Yeah, it's all in the crypto news. That's what people are waiting for. So if supposedly supposed to be just no taxes on crypto profits. So yeah, so just him talking about it is what. So when Trump got in office, there was a huge bump in everything in the stock market and in crypto. It's just because, well, first off, people for some reason think that when Republicans get in office, that stock market goes up, and statistically it does, but it's by such a small amount that it does on the blue side as well. So people so just off that speculation, people put in the money, and then it gave it a small pump. But when it actually comes to price movement, it's all about the fundamentals, like the actual what's going on the blockchain itself, though. Yeah.
So how do you think, I don't know if you know too much about his policies that's been enacted, but how do you think that in terms of putting tariffs and stuff like that on China and for Canada, Mexico, all the other countries, how do you think that affects the crypto market? And how do you think that affects gaming at large?
Affects crypto in gaming. Well, whatever affects the markets. So tariffs could be bad, could be good. This is something that I don't think I'm qualified to answer. But if it harms the stock market, crypto, believe it or not, follows the stock market. So if the stock market crashes, crypto will crash with it. This is why the Federal Reserve and the tightening of interest rates and lowering of interest rates matter so much is because crypto follows the market. So if the market's up, crypto's up. Market's down, market's down. So it depends on what the outcome will be. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what it's going to be. Right now, I think everything's down because everyone's scared of the tariff wars from going on. So, and now when it comes to video games, I don't know. Do you have to pay tariffs on a video game that you import from? Do you technically? Does it count as importing over the internet?
It's more just like I guess I would consider more like getting like chips, right, for your graphics cards for your computers. Like I guess that's the more
consoles too.
Consoles is like every single electronic component that we use is being effectively imported right now because we don't have the superconductor factories here physically in America to produce that stuff domestically.
Like physical games and physical hardware.
Physical hardware is being imported.
I thought we're talking about video games. Or do consoles count as those?
I mean, consoles count too, but they also use the same chips that are going to be imported as well.
Don't forget the tariffs are specifically. It's not like it's a blanket for everybody. So from what I'm understanding, he's specifically tariffing specific countries.
Yeah, I mean he's specifically tariffing 10% of.
This is coming from a very ignorant point of view, but mostly what I'm hearing is Canada, China, and Mexico.
Oh, I mean, Canada and Mexico at this moment are not being tariffed. There have been negotiations to at least pause that for a month. But when it comes to tariffs against China, those have not been paused. And China is going to impose counter tariffs against America, which is going to make trade harder between the two nations. What I'm getting at is that these video games could potentially become more expensive, which could impact the gaming market at large. If people can only afford to buy X amount of video games a year, what kind of video games do you think would be pushed to the forefront if you can only afford to play?
Well, Steam would be number one because there's always a sale going on. Steam will be fine, and Valve has its own problems with the whole monopoly thing, which is whatever. But if I had to make a choice, because like I said, I stay in my lane, I stay in my little hut, and I mind my own business. But if I had to guess, short term, tariffs bad for everybody. Long term, good for us. And as in us, I mean America. If I had to put a bet on it, because American products, maybe that'll make companies move back over here. Because tariffs can't be on America unless you tariff yourself. That would be amazing. Trump would probably try to do it though. Just, we're going to tariff ourselves, But a fun fact, I didn't know that, but all of our taxes used to come in through tariffs ever since the country was made, and then it slowly declined down to 2% to present day. So there is kind of a benefit of everybody else. Except for us.
Yeah, so tariffs used to be used in like the late 1800s as the main means of making money, but then it was kind of pushed to the wayside in favor of income tax type stuff.
Me.
But yeah, in favor of you.
Yeah.
But the benefits of having more unrestrained trade, that the world becomes more interconnected in the aspect that they become more interdependent on each other, which prevents war.
Yes.
Yeah, well, if you're creating, like I said, I'm not qualified to speak on this, but what is the point of a tariff? To make somebody pay to sell goods in your country, should you do that at all?
Mm-hmm. I
don't know.
It does kind of counter what you're saying earlier about like freedom of trade.
Yeah. I'm aware of this, but I'm thinking maybe this, but then should my prices go up because of, should I suffer? Should my cost of living go down because my government can't control their spending? Because they're going in debt? That I know for sure, no. But I think the real answer to the question would be the government spending part. Would be the problem to would be the answer to all the problems. You know what I mean?
I mean, Trump aside, I could see a world where tariffs could make sense if they're used specifically on certain products to enable American industry to flourish more in that specific industry. But I mean, I can't say for sure. It's for sure gonna. What I can say for sure is that it is going to cost what you said earlier. It's going to cost the average consumer more money, unfortunately, because you want to kind of promote people to make it cheaper here in America.
Yeah.
That's how it works, unfortunately. But I don't know if it's essential to an economy to function, you know, or B, to prevent war, which is my biggest concern.
Well, you know, at the current point that we're in, it's us versus them. I hate to say it that way. And if I'm going to choose, I'm obviously going to choose me. I believe that America is still number one, even with all of its problems, its warmongering issues, and its government spending. The reason I want like, you know what, if China had let's say like we swapped the roles, hopefully I think I would choose China over States if the roles were swapped off of just
Dom, we're
ideas.
losing you a little bit. Sorry. I don't know why. I think you're speaking over top the microphone.
Yeah, just
Okay.
repeat
And
what
it's
you
losing
said
it.
real quick.
So maybe move this back a little bit,
Okay.
or maybe lean forward more, or lean back more. I'm not sure which.
Does it need to be closer or farther away?
So you were like talking like this, and that's
okay,
when I was
okay.
losing you.
So okay. Sorry.
Like one of the smokers are like, eyes.
Let me talk into my stove.
It's actually a pretty good strategy in what is it? Not Garage Band. What the fuck is it called? Rock Band. You would put the microphone against
Like
your
right up
neck.
here. Yeah.
Against your neck, because
Okay.
it doesn't register like your singing aptitude. It registers your vocal, like
Pitch.
your pitch.
Yes.
So
Okay.
you just put it against your throat. Anyway,
So
continue.
going back,
So
can
repeat
you
what said.
repeat the part where you said about if the roles were reversed? That's where you got cut off at.
If the roles were reversed, I hope that my morals would be good enough to choose China over America. But I still think our bedrock is better than any other, and I believe that. That's the only reason I cling on to America and believe in it, is our bedrock and what it believes in, individual freedom and freedom of speech. That's what I'm holding on to. Like, your home is your own castle. You're the king of your own country. And it's not like that really anywhere else.
King of the castle.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. You're not, you know, and if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't care for America. I'd move. But because of that, I want us to win. So in this messy, dark world that we live in, when you look underneath the hood from the day-to-day TikToks and stuff that everyone likes to joke around and take nothing seriously. So for now, I'm for the tariffs because America needs to fix itself. We have a war within. Somehow, the WoW expansion comes into this. It's a war within. Listen, somehow the World of Warcraft experiences seem to describe everything that's going on. What was the last expansion? It was like Void, the dark tendrils of freaking businesses creeping their way into every aspect of life. You know, the Void creeping in. You know, somehow is a way of finding itself.
Microtransactions bleeding us dry.
Yeah. You know, the corporations.
When does Deathwing show?
We have a war within in America right now, and what we need to do is stop fighting each other and start fighting the rich and the corrupt and the people in the government. We need to stop arguing all the time and realize it's not left or right, it's up or down. It's rich versus poor is really what it is.
Damn, it's a shame Dom killed himself with 8 gunshot wounds to the back of the head. Man, I can't believe I heard. Did you hear about that, Tim? That's crazy.
Yeah, I heard about that.
What are
Unbelievable.
you guys talking about? I'm lost. Are you talking about the 6 shots I took? Because it wasn't 8, it was 6.
No. You're talking about how the real problem is rich versus poor. So you get suicided in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What has something to do with all that porn you were watching?
Oh man, I lost track of where I was going with this.
Sorry. Yeah, well, you said the war within America.
Yeah, it's like
Yep.
we need to we do need to bring. I'm hoping, because I've heard both sides. Is like, if we get into a tariff war, that a lot of our stuff comes in from China. That's very bad for us. I see that, but then again, I also see the other side. If we actually suffer for a little bit, stand tall, and somehow those tariffs, because you got to realize a lot of the companies got rich in America. then realized, oh, we can save millions of dollars and go over to China, pay less. So they took advantage of their freedom and then moved over to China where it's cheaper and exploit the Chinese people, pay them nothing, and then sell just as good as over here.
Right.
So if that brings more jobs and money to America, that's also good. Instead of just being everyone's like, oh, our prices are going to go up. All right, but what's the long term? Yes, I understand the short term. You like your TikToks and your cheap, shitty products off Temu, which I hope to God you're not buying off. Which by the way,
I have.
You can look into Temu exploits a mailing service because China's so poor. Like there's supposed to be like some kind of mailing or delivery system. I'm going off on a tangent, sorry, where because countries are so poor, they try to make it cheaper for countries to ship things. And so because I guess China's so amazing, but even though it's not, it's considered a poor country, they take advantage of the easy, free, or low-cost shipping, and they send it over you, and that's how Temu can make things so cheap. Plus, they're just shitty products. There's a little rabbit hole you can go down into, but that's why... But the tariffs, I'm hoping it strengthens America. I'm hoping, my hope is, I'm being optimistic, is that it brings jobs over, makes American people maybe buy more American-made products, make things more here instead of depending on China. That's a good thing. And now I understand that it contradicts the whole, being nice and trading with each other, but China's not playing fair, and somebody's got to start doing the right thing first. Otherwise, it's just going to end in
a race to the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
It's so frustrating. I hate like really boiling it down to just like trying to beat some other faction at some kind of game. But I mean, the world is still the same as it ever was, which is you just trying to like succeed against your adversaries. But I would hope that we're past that. I would hope that we're at a point where the trade is necessary to preserve peace across the world. Like I think it has preserved peace because they can't go to war with us because we're giving them so much money. But if we're ever at a point where we're self-sustainable, that gives them reasons to attack us.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm afraid of, is giving them reasons to attack us. The interdependability is our biggest weakness and also our biggest strength for the average person. It's not advantageous for the people on the top because they're not making fucking money, right? But it's very advantageous for the people on the bottom because they don't have to worry about war with other countries because they rely on us to support their economy. If their economy is only dependent on themselves, what do they need us for? And that's what is going to eventually create war.
Well, it does cost a lot of money to go to war, but no, you touched on a good point. Is they do need our money. Strangely enough, you ask like, what is America? People are like, oh, our military is the greatest. No, it's also our dollar bill.
Correct.
Everybody is running on our blood, which is the dollar bill, which they got scandaled into that, which even Putin himself and wide open on like, this is how dumb we are. Our people who are in power is we control the world. Like we are the world economy. For some reason, everybody uses the dollar. How it got that way, I can't tell you, but everyone's kind of...
I can, because back after World War II, we kind of just decided that our dollar was...
Yeah, obviously, we put effort into making it that way, which, you know what, everyone on the same language would be easier. Everyone on the same dollar is easier. But then there's the people who abuse it. It's just... And... It's such a disaster. The World Economic Forum and the United Nations does not work fair. It's unfair to the people who are in the countries and the people that are in it, and it's being abused. So even people who try to even disguise themselves as unity or kindness or one world have even spoiled that image. So, but this is why I choose America. I know I'm going off on a tangent because the Chinese government's not going to do it, but believe it or not, there's still a chance for us. There's still a chance for us to do the right thing, and here in America, because the people actually do have some power and some say so. China, it's not. When you guys probably didn't even hear about it, but there was biblical floodings in China, and no one heard about it. And you don't even know the number of people who probably would have died. Cities completely destroyed. And the first reaction that the government had was to not save people, was to put up on the bridge where you can see the flood happening, cover it up so you couldn't record it or see what was going on. That was your top priority. I guess our Americans' top priority is just not to send funding in that either, you know what I mean? But it's like, that's some dark shit. And it's just like, I don't know, lives just are not, people's lives are not appreciated over there. And there's probably about maybe a list of 5 other things I can go down into that that's pretty bad over there.
All right, we are coming up on 3 hours here for our recording session. We're gonna go ahead and close it out here. Dom, thank you so much for coming on and doing this podcast late at night. Dave, same to you. I know this is late for him, but we're working through it. This is the best time for all of us, so I really wanted to make it happen, and I'm glad we did. Is there anything else you wanted to say to the audience before we close it out for the night?
Nope.
Nope.
Well, thank you for your inspiring words of wisdom
that you are completely out of. You have no more of them.
Oh no, I'll put it this way. I have faith in the American people, and that's why America #1. Tariffs, baby, tariffs all around.
You get a tariff. You get a tariff. Kalimdor gets a tariff.
Oh my god. Fucking spare me.
The Horde isn't sending their best. They're sending their trolls, their orcs.
They're sending the murderers.
Their warlocks.
The warlocks. The rogues. They're gonna steal from our people. The people of Stormwind. Anyway, sorry. I've been Tim from Shot Takes. That's been Dom. That's been Dave.
Yep.
Think responsibly, viewers.
Yep.